please welcome my guest for this evening, Fang.
Hi, hello. I'm sorry. I'm like in the midst of making a last-minute promo image.
Oh, okay. Don't worry.
Where's the promo image? I can't do this without a pro. Did you talk to my PR? I said that in my contract that I needed a PR image in order to do this interview. I'm kidding. That's a joke, but.
Well, I suppose that does lead me into what I was sort of alluding to of this being a little bit different on the planning side. That usually I end up scheduling shows, a week, sometimes 2 weeks in advance, and just the way things happened was I reached out to Fang, and I think it was probably Friday or Saturday. It was this past Friday or Saturday, so very quickly, and I said, hey, I actually had a cancellation for my show that was going to be on tonight, so if you're interested in a quick turnaround, we can make that happen. But of course, I realize that's very short notice. So maybe we can look to the following weekend. And she just messaged back, hey, we can make Monday work. I was like, okay, so we're going to make Monday work.
I live my life flying by the seat of my pants, so it's totally cool.
But yes, I'm so glad to have you here, Fang. I'm guessing most folks in the chat are already familiar with you, but for anyone who isn't, if you could introduce yourself.
Yoroshiku finger desu. Hi, I am a caveman, Unga Bunga. I was frozen in a block of ice, but it melted because of global warming, and now I'm here on an interview talk show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you are too. Yep, yeah, global warming, it'll do that. I remember seeing your, it was one of your debut images, and it was that, global warming caused the block of ice to melt, and now you're here to make it everyone's problem.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a good problem to have. Oh, wait a minute. I totally missed this while we were on the starting soon screen. UV Creature, thank you for the raid.
We on a raid?
Yeah, we got a raid.
Hi, Hugh. Welcome in.
Yeah, so sorry about that I don't have the notification alerts on the starting soon screen. It's just a static one there, so I absolutely missed that. So sorry. But also, thank you, Oswald McFly, Demon King Ruzo, Oni Maiden, and Classic Carnage for the follows.
Ruzo, you came here to watch little old me. Oh, what's that? I'm your favorite VTuber. I know.
And Jorbizzle, thank you so much for the follow as well.
Jorb! Fang, you don't wear pants. You don't know that. Can you see my legs? I'm gonna have pants on right now.
Don't worry. Well, actually, no, you save that for a subathon to do the feet reveal or the leg reveal and everything. But anyways, yes, welcome on in. We're going to have a good time tonight. You have a busy week ahead, Fang, actually, that, obviously starting off here, but then later tonight, when we were scheduling things, you said I have a 12 a.m. stream. And I sort of did a double take because, 12 a.m., 12 p.m., it's a little bit weird. And like, do you mean noon or midnight? I can work around it either way because I usually don't broadcast at either of those hours, but just so I know, and you're like, 12 midnight. So as it turns out, later tonight, you are actually going to be on another channel, and you're going to be playing, or I suppose, commentating a Sonic Adventure 2 randomizer run, which delights me to no end because I've brought it up on a couple shows in the past. Sonic Adventure 2 is unironically one of my favorite games of all time.
It's so good!
It's not a perfect game. It's not like, all-time great design, but it's
perfect.
just so fun. It's so fun. The music is so good. I may or may not have most, if not all of those songs still memorized to this day. And I just really enjoy that one. I'm not sure. Have you seen the recent Sonic films?
Yeah, I have. I'm really excited for 3. I feel like they gotta bring Rouge the Bat in. They gotta. I'm really excited.
Indeed,
She's my favorite.
That spoilers for those who did not see the Sonic movie. That I feel like most people have heard it at this point, and it's not a huge thing. But Shadow is teased in the post-credits stinger, and it's just gonna be okay. They've done their own thing very clearly for the first 2 Sonic films, and I'm not expecting them to recreate Sonic Adventure 2 in the third movie.
Give me Rouge!
Well, I don't think they're going to recreate it in terms of all the plot beats. I'm hoping they will also bring in Rouge. There's 2 things that I really want. first, like, if just somehow, some way, I don't care if it's exactly how it went in the game, but if we can get to Space Colony Arc and
Yes,
have
yes, yes,
Final
yes, yes,
Hazard
yes.
and that just, that big space battle, I don't care how we get there, but if that's the climax of the film, I would be very happy. And the other thing, just put Crush 40 in the movie, you cowards.
Dude.
They paid for Uptown Funk, I think it was, in
Okay.
Sonic 2. It was some top 40 thing for the little dance number that they did. And if you're paying for a Billboard topping song, you can pay whatever the heck the licensing fee is for Crush 40. I'm sure it's in the budget.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Crush 40 is still active. A few years ago, I went to MagFest and I got to see Crush 40 play live.
I'm quite aware of that one because I was there too.
Oh shit! Oh my god, we were probably in the same room. That's
It is
crazy.
entirely possible, and actually
That's
probably
so
likely
crazy.
that MagFest is. So I actually mentioned this kind of in passing when we were talking earlier. Part of the reason that Vtuber Talk came about is because in 2020 and 2021, I had a lot of free time on my hands because prior to 2020 and now finally starting again, it's not my day job, but I do a lot of convention work, a lot of event live support work. I've been fortunate enough to work with some really fantastic companies, but MagFest is the one convention festival that I make a point to go to and not work. That is the one that I go to be an attendee because it's so fun. I also grew up in Maryland. Actually, I don't live there anymore, but I grew up in the area, so it ends up actually being a pseudo family reunion for me that I get to see a lot of friends from high school and college that nowadays I don't get to see any other time of the year. And yeah, so actually now I kind of want to ask about your experience with MagFest. So obviously you got to see the folks from Crush 40 there, but
Yeah.
have you been going to MagFest for a while, or?
I don't remember when I first started going to MagFest. It was really, I feel like it must have been like 2013 or maybe 2012.
Okay,
And
that's because that means that we started about the same time. Because my first one would have been, was it 11 or 12? Would have been 11. No, would have been 12 technically because MagFest is really early January. It was the end of 2011, early 2012. That was the first one I went to.
Yeah, the first one I went to was like the most amazing time of my life. So we get up there, the hotel we went to was like, oh yeah, we're only like a 10-minute walk from the venue. And I'm like, that rules. Look, we're gonna get this room. It turns out it's a 10-minute walk if you can fly across the lake that is between the hotel and MagFest.
Yeah, the
So I was like,
harbor.
Yeah, so we got totally like bamboozled by this hotel, and we're like, no,
no.
fuck this. This is like a 30-minute journey to the hotel every day or more. I don't remember. And so we cancel our hotel room. I leave a bad review. And we go to the hotel that is across from MagFest, like right across the street.
That's how you got to do it. If you're not in the Gaylord, that you want to be in very short walking distance. One, because for those who aren't familiar, MagFest is a 24-hour convention that you can be playing arcade games at 4 a.m, and panels go usually until like.
Is that still a thing
2.
though? I remember the really big arcade provider pulled out recently.
No,
have like a new?
No, I don't think so. That this past year they shut down specifically from the hours of 4 to 8, but that was for cleaning because health and all that. But other than that, they were open 20 hours a day this time, and they've said that they hope to get back to full 24. If there was a new arcade provider, I couldn't tell that.
Okay.
They were back to normal. I do know that like a couple years back there was a bit of drama with the board of directors, and the arcade provider might have threatened to pull out, but then they fixed their board of directors. So yeah, I didn't tell too much of a difference there. It seemed
All right,
same to
Drip
me.
says the arcade was there this year, but it wasn't the same. Interesting. But I gotta finish my story, right? We go to that hotel that's across from where MagFest is actually held. And so we're like looking at the rates online. We're just sitting in the lobby, all right? Like me and all my friends were sitting in the lobby trying to figure this out because we're like, no, we're not going to stay at a hotel that's like a bajillion miles away and takes too much. And like, you know, traffic gets a little crazy around there too. So we're sitting in the lobby like, what do we do? What do we do? And we're looking at the rates and we're like, well, if we pull this much together, if each of us pays this much, we could afford this room. And this lady at the desk overheard us. And she's like, excuse me. And she gets our attention. She has us come over to the counter and she's like, I couldn't help but overhear you guys. And what if I gave you 2 rooms for like half off or whatever? And we're like, shut up, no way. And she's like, yeah, no, I'll give you the discount, blah, 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 blah. We got 2 rooms that were like conjoined. She gave us like a huge fat discount on it.
Oh my gosh.
And that's where we stayed for the weekend. And it was amazing. And it had a kitchen with like pots and pans. And we had like 2 really big TVs.
This has to have been a while back because nowadays.
It was amazing.
Like
oh,
nowadays, it's a whole lottery system for the MagFest hotels. So this has to have been like before 2016 probably, because there's no way in hell that you would be able to get a last-minute hotel room across the street. But at that point in time, that, you know, for a hotel, lost or unused inventory. So, you know, if a room is empty, that's lost revenue for them. And there's nothing they can do about it. And when it's last minute, that it's in their interest to say, okay, if we can't make our normal margins on this room, we'd rather get something as opposed to nothing. And if we see these folks here that are, you know, looking to book 3-4 nights, and we have all these extra rooms and we don't think that any of them are going to book otherwise, yeah, we'd rather make what money we can.
Yeah, so you can definitely tell that this was like 2012 or 13 or something or whatever. Also, this was a time when MagFest didn't have cosplayers. Like, nobody cosplayed at MagFest. And that was like a huge reason why I liked it. Like, no hate to cosplayers. I cosplay too. But I just really liked being able to go to MagFest just to chill.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's become like a cosplay con too, and like people, because it's held in the same convention center as Katsucon, which is like
Yep.
when people want to go get the balcony picture, whatever it is.
Yeah, the famous, infamous gazebo.
I miss when MagFest was an anime. Yeah, me too, Oni, me too.
And that MagFest, so I think it was the 2012 MagFest that was actually my very first convention. It was a couple of friends.
Really?
That just I've been a general purpose nerd for my entire life. Just video games, anime, stuff like that. Always been my bread and butter. But for one reason or another, just the friend group that I grew up with were all into the stuff too, but we never really went to conventions. And I had been wanting to go, and a couple friends at that point were like, hey, we're going to be going to MagFest. So I tagged along, and it was like life-changing experience in multiple ways. At the end of the weekend, I was like choked up of like, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave. This is like the most amazing weekend ever. And yeah, MagFest is just, it's so much fun. It's still really, really unique, frankly, as far as conventions go, that MagFest itself has been branching out with a couple other smaller cons, but there really aren't others that do that type of just specific video games and video game music festival experience.
That's why like it really felt like the ultimate like go chill out con, and I really loved it. And I really like the dealer's room. Like there's like so many, there's like countless like retro games to browse. There's a butt ton of indie producers there, and they're selling their indie merch, and I can buy like video game merch of like anything I want, like no matter how obscure. I'm gonna find merch of my favorite video game there, and that always made me really happy. And of course there was like the 24-hour arcade, which was totally awesome.
Yeah, it's just if you enjoy video games and or video game music, and I've always also been a video game music nerd. Like funny enough, the very first video game soundtrack I owned on a physical disc was the Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack, actually.
Really?
Come to think of it. So coming full circle
I think
there,
mine was Kingdom Hearts.
that was one of, I owned that one in pretty short order too. Such a good soundtrack.
Hi, Cube.
Hi, Cube, Captain Cube. Yeah, can't recommend MagFest highly enough. If any of that sounded good to you, go. The hotel situation now is a bit more crazy than usual, but honestly, the way that I get around it nowadays is that I'm in this Discord server with like 20 friends.
Mm,
And just when it comes time for the lottery, that we all go in together, and it's just,
mm.
okay, we only need 3 or 4 of us to hit. And then we just, have 4 people to a room, and that it's pretty easy that way. And for the past 4 or 5 years, I've never had a problem, because even though my luck on the lottery has always been garbage, that it just basically you're pooling your odds.
Hmm. Yeah, I haven't been to MagFest recently though. I stopped going just before COVID. I forget my reasons, and then COVID happened, and I haven't been since.
I did go this past January. That they were one of the first cons to come back, but also go very strongly with you are required for both vaccine and mask all
Oh,
over,
that's good.
and like they enforced it that
Good.
if they saw people with masks down, that you could go over to a staffer and be like, hey. And I only had to do that twice throughout the weekend.
Oh, nice. Also,
And
hi,
hi, Noka, welcome on in.
Noka.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that if you're available that weekend, to try and make plans for this year, because it's back and it's very, very nice. It's still just one of my favorite weekends of the year, full stop.
I think my first convention was, I think I went when I was 14. That was when Jinneon was still around. You guys remember Jinneon?
Ooh, oh boy.
Yeah, they were selling like a bunch of Paranoia Agent Maromi-chan plushes. That was my first convention. It was awesome! Oh, wait, maybe I was 13. I might have been 13, actually.
Well, because Jenneon went under, it was in 2011 or early 2012, because then Funimation picked up a whole chunk of their licenses. Yeah, and now Funimation doesn't exist either. Haha.
I miss Jinneon. They were so cool. Mine was in
Minecon
2011.
2011.
Oh, really? Wait, who said Minecon?
Jorb said Minecon 2011.
No! Jorb, that was your first convention? Don't talk to me. Oh my god, Momoka, you have a Maromi sticker? Based as hell.
Forgot that Minecon was even a thing.
I
Is it still a
forgot too.
thing? Because I like,
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know, because that was one of those, small, super, super focused ones. Well, at least it wasn't DashCon.
It showed off a video game though, like one you made? Jorb? Does anyone in chat know if Minecon is still a thing? I want to know.
Yeah, now I'm really curious.
Yeah, I mean, what you can tell us.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
well, good for them. Heck, well, Minecraft is honestly bigger now than it was in 2011. That I remember, actually,
It's all
I
digital now.
played the beta version of Minecraft when there was only creative mode, that there was no proper mining. It was just, you would bring up this menu and you could choose the blocks, and it was mostly just sort of a sandbox, really, that there was no creepers, no animals, no crafting yet, really. And when the full version came out, I was like, oh, this is really complex, and I enjoyed it as the sandbox simulator, really. And did that with friends for a while, but didn't actually pick up proper Minecraft until, gosh, probably like 3 years ago. But
Yeah?
it's been wild to watch Minecraft. I'm not sure if that's a game that you've been really into at all.
Yeah, I play it in bursts. Like I'll have like a big Minecraft year, and then I'll just drop it for like 2 years, and I'll come back and be like Minecraft time, and so on and so forth.
Captain Cube, welcome for the follow. Yeah, I definitely understand that Minecraft's one of those, like you said, in-burst games of just, when you get into it, you fall in, and just you have your projects, or you have whatever you're trying to build. I've never actually gone and beaten the Ender Dragon. That I usually would just try and, make a city with a friend, and, make fun little structures, or
Yeah,
like
that's what I do mainly. I do want to fight the Ender Dragon, but I just need people that are more capable than me to actually do it.
Yeah, that I would definitely need to be carried.
Yeah. Once a year, I play until 7 in the morning. Hi, Layla.
Hi, welcome on in. Yeah, sorry, we just jumped around a whole bunch there. That went from it was Sonic to the movie, and then there was Crush 40, and it was from Crush 40 that we got to Magfest. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're doing the Sonic Adventure 2 randomizer with a friend, and remind me who that is again. I want to give him a shout.
Oni Maiden. I can spell it for you. Hold on.
Yep. Okay. Cool. There we go.
Yeah, we're gonna be streaming the Sonic Adventure 2 randomizer on her stream later after this interview at 9 p.m. PST, right?
Yeah, I think it was 9 Pacific, midnight Eastern.
Yes, midnight Eastern.
Now,
I think most people are Eastern.
Yeah, I'm actually in Central myself, so I'm sort of in that weird thing of, okay, I always... Yeah, I guess the advantage to not being in Eastern or Pacific is that you just make the base assumption that people aren't in your time zone, and that you're always checking, all right, what's the time zone code?
Yeah.
So when you played Sonic Adventure 2, were you also really into the Chow Garden, or was that something that you didn't interact with much?
Oh, yeah. I spent a lot of time trying to get, like, the Shadow Chow and so on.
Yeah.
I always heard rumors that there was a Rouge one. I never saw it. Did that actually exist?
No, I don't think there was ever, like, a
this was an
Rouge
age where, like people would tell you something about a video
yeah.
game and you'd believe it because
Oh,
you
yeah,
didn't
no,
have access to the
this
internet.
was the original Sonic and Tails or in Super Smash Brothers Melee. I remember those rumors of, you have to shoot this certain thing during the Melee credits and then you'll be able to get Sonic. And funny enough, Sonic would then be in the next iteration of Smash Brothers, but it was this whole running thing in Melee for like a good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Poxy are lying on the internet. But like at that point in time, it wasn't even the internet. It felt just like it was the schoolyard rumors, really.
Back in my day, you could play Super Smash Brothers Melee and look up Peach's skirt and see her bloomers.
I completely forgot, but you're right.
That's like one of the main things I remember. Don't ask me why.
I feel like everyone, as soon as you figure out that there's a camera mode, that you're going to push it to its limits and figure things out and be like, okay, so how far do these angles go? How far up? How far down?
Don't make that face, Rizzo. Oh my god.
Yeah, those were actually the first 2 games I had for the GameCube, and the GameCube was the first home console that I ever owned. That I had a Game Boy Color a couple years before that, but it was for my 10th birthday that I got a GameCube with Sonic Adventure 2 and Melee, and yeah, played those games a whole bunch. But I know for you that you said your first console was the N64, correct?
I didn't get it until like many years after it had already been out, but to me it was like brand new, because like I didn't have any consoles. Yeah. And I was always at McDonald's.
Oh yeah,
playing at the
console.
Nintendo 64 console.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had like this little like what's the word, quattro console thing? I don't know.
Yeah, that basically for those who don't know what we're talking about, that it was a partnership they had at McDonald's Play Places, and it was basically four monitors that were back to back, so it made a bit of a square, and it was just these game stations that you could go and play, and that it was usually stuff like Super Mario 64 and a couple others that were pre-selected, but that it wasn't demo versions of the games, it was just the full versions. And you could like access other people's saves and stuff like that. It was awesome. Mine had Banjo-Kazooie and Tony Hawk Pro Skater and I don't think I cared about the other two. Classic Card says Mario Kart 64. I don't think they had Mario Kart on it because they were all single-player ones, and even though it was 4 stations, they were not connected, and each one only had, I think, a single controller.
I mean, you could play
2.
Mario Kart by yourself.
Memory's foggy, but yeah, I have those distinct memory because it was these really brightly colored stations that I don't want to actually look up if there's pictures of these at this point. I assume there are somewhere.
Yeah, of the terminals? Yeah, there's totally pictures.
Those were just... It was one of those things that you would always hope that if you went to McDonald's... or first games.
Yeah. Nintendo 64 was Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. She didn't have it. Okay, I'm getting confused. My friend had a Nintendo 64. I always go play Nintendo 64 at our house. Then we'd go to Blockbuster, and I'd ask if we could rent Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. And we'd play that, and we'd take turns playing that. And my grandpa eventually caught on. He's like, oh, my little cave grandchild. She really loves Mystical Ninja Goemon. I'm gonna get her a Nintendo 64 with Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. And he did for for Christmas. For Christmas he did. And so that was the game I played the most. And then I eventually got more. I got Banjo-Kazooie. I got Ocarina of Time. I got all the cool stuff. Actually, I'll bring that up later. But yeah, it was my first console and some of my most favorite video games on there. I also really like Snowboard Kids and Snowboard Kids 2. And, hold on. Let me look at my shelf. My memory span's bad. Let me turn around. My model's gonna freeze, but don't worry about her.
No, I think that was on my end that I was grabbing the N64 kiosk thing while listening to you talk, and I think that my potato of a computer didn't like it.
Okay, yeah. I also had Goemon's Great Adventure. I had Hey You Pikachu. I had Pokemon Snap. Yeah. Oh, and Majora's Mask, of course.
Did you see that there was somebody, and actually it turns out that they are a VTuber because one of my recent guest duper actually knows them, that I'm blank on their full handle, but it's Mike, M-I-C something or other, but basically they figured out that the reason that Hey You Pikachu was so abysmal was not because the software was bad, but that the microphone quality was just so bad that it wasn't able to process things. So this guy put a studio-grade microphone and was able to jerry-rig it so it was hooked up to his N64 controller, and it works perfectly.
Oh my god, dude! I know I had trouble playing Hey You Pikachu because everybody did. But I remember at the time that didn't really bother me. I was just having a really good time, and like anytime Pikachu did hear me and Pikachu did register what I said,
oh yeah, no, it was a huge triumph.
I was so happy. It really felt like, oh my god, Pikachu is real, and I'm talking to Pikachu. This is the best day of my life. So it didn't really bother me.
Right, here it is. Yep, I figured that was going to happen. That's the giant picture, but here is...
Oh my god!
But here is the N64 station that was at McDonald's.
Those were the days. They don't make them like they used to.
Those were the days. No, they don't. And I appreciate, in retrospect, that they have these at different heights so that, the younger kids could play and not have to be, like, standing on their toes the whole time, and that the people who designed this put thought into it. That's really cool.
I wonder if this was... Wait. Rizzo, does your McDonald's not have a Nintendo 64 station? That's so sad.
Yeah, they weren't in all of them. I feel like they were in, I don't know, maybe half. Yeah, those are just very fun memories there.
Yeah, my grandpa would take me to... Before I had my own Nintendo 64, He'd take me to the cave McDonald's all the time and let me play on the Nintendo 64s. And I feel like that was also like eventually him being like, I'm gonna get my little cave granddaughter a Nintendo 64.
Aw, what a wonderful cave grandpa.
It did not, so this feels fake to me. No, Rizzo, it's real. They were on the West Coast too.
Yeah, and like I said, I grew up in Maryland, so I can confirm that it was on the East Coast, that it was definitely there. So the McDonald's around you, Rizzo, apparently just weren't cool enough.
Yeah, damn. Where'd you grow up? Banjo Land? I don't know.
Yeah, I never actually played the Goemon games. What genre were those? I'm guessing those were JRPGs.
Nintendo 64, they're like platformers.
Platforms, okay. I don't know how I missed those.
Like little action platformers. You get a little pipe. You get to smack enemies with them, and it is a lot like a Banjo game, sort of. At least starring Goemon was. Goemon's Great Adventure kind of went back to the traditional format, which is like a side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah, I feel like N64 had a lot of platformers that was sort of their bread and butter, and it was obviously sort of pioneered by Mario 64, and then there was a whole bunch of things like Banjo, and just that was obviously it's still a big genre today, but I feel like that was one of the biggest genres back in the day, especially for Nintendo, who generally shied away from FPSs.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of FPS. Yeah, I guess the Nintendo 64 had like a huge influence on like how I appreciate games today, because I feel like platformers aren't as popular as they used to be then. So you don't see them as often, stuff like Froggun or A Hat in Time, stuff like that like is really reminiscent of like Nintendo 64 platformers. And yeah, Nintendo 64 didn't have many first-person shooters, and I guess thusly I'm not big on first-person shooters.
Yeah, I think that sort of wound up being the same for me, that I grew up, like I said, with a GameCube and Game Boy, so my parents also in general were not fond of the idea of me playing shooter games. That they were like, if you're at a friend's house, whatever, they weren't going to be super sticklers about it, but they didn't want me like owning super violent games and playing them on the regular. And so shooter games were generally speaking off the table. And later on, it's the type of thing that, once you get to the Xbox 360 era, the PS3 era, and that you have a lot more frequent online multiplayer for FPS games, that most of the folks online have, been growing up playing stuff like Halo or Call of Duty and are already very good at it. And I felt like at that point, the learning curve was just so steep that if you tried to play online and you weren't already really good at it, you were just going to get destroyed. And
I'm decent at first-person shooter games. I just don't enjoy them. Like, I can play them fine, but I'm just like, okay, I'm tired of shooting people. But hold on, Noka brings up a fantastic point, as does Ruzo, the GoldenEye game, hell yeah. But Noka brought up Banjo-Tooie, in which there's a shooting minigame. Dude, I would play that for hours with my best friend when I was little. Hours, dude! We'd be in that fucking maze, shooting it up, shooting eggs at each other. We'd get the grenade eggs, the fire eggs, the ice eggs. Dude, that was so much fun. I loved playing that minigame. When people ask me what shooter I play, I'm like, yeah, Banjo minigame.
and they had the archery one in Ocarina of Time that obviously Nintendo was all right to have. It's not quite the same when it's those sort of cartoony ones, that they were all right with those. But even then, it was usually mini games that you weren't going to see many first-person ones. And GoldenEye, like Noka mentioned, was really that exception to the rule. Gosh, N64, like that's the nostalgia console for me, because even though I didn't own it, that was the one that growing up, I would play at friends' houses, and it had.
Oh yeah, it was like the party console. Because it was like affordable. Controllers were cheap. You could go to GameStop and buy a used game for super cheap. Or everyone's house had one. It was awesome. But what was your favorite GameCube game?
My favorite GameCube game. Like there is just a solid chance that it's Sonic Adventure 2 that but it's also so difficult to balance that against Melee because Melee is still really, really good. That's tough. That I think I do just need to give it to Sonic Adventure 2 that, I enjoy Melee, but I'm not one of those folks that, hated Brawl and continued to play Melee for a decade after. I think it was really, really good, but Sonic Adventure 2, just the more I think about it, it is the singular one that has stuck with me the most. But I also have my personal list of Diamond in the Rough games for GameCube, and I'm curious that do you have any that you feel like were really underappreciated or ones that you found that were really niche and really enjoyed?
Hold on. Let me look at my GameCube shelf really quick. Oh yeah, I do. So most of my favorite GameCube games aren't really that underappreciated, but I would say that Chibi Robo was underappreciated. And I would say that Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg was really underappreciated.
Fang, I love you. Thank you. Yes.
I did. Yes, I love Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. I loved it. I had so much fun playing that with my friends when I was little. It ruled.
My gosh, Billy, like I said, I have my short list of underappreciated games, and Billy Hatcher is one of the 2 top ones on that list.
Dude, I waited for years. I'm like, it's gonna come back, baby. It's gonna come back better than that.
Please,
No.
just
It's been decades.
It was made by Sonic Team, and you could actually get Sonic and Tails in the multiplayer mode. But just genuinely, the campaign mode was so fun.
It was so much fun. I loved it.
Sadly, it was a commercial failure, and
yeah, and I don't get it.
I do not think we're ever actually going to get a Billy Hatcher 2 or even a port of it, but it was the type of thing that I wish we could. And anytime I see somebody playing Billy Hatcher on Twitch, that like if I see that in my sidebar, if someone I'm following is playing it, I switch to that channel pretty much instantly because so few people have played it, so few people enjoyed it. The music's amazing, the level design is fun, it's really original.
It's gorgeous too. I remember when it first came out, I'm like, this is like the most polished thing I've ever seen.
Like one day, maybe it will become a cult classic enough to get a revival or even just a port.
I love that. Look, if I blow up and I get real big and I act like I don't know nobody, I'll stream it so that it gets popular again.
Yes, that's how you have to use your clout and influence to bring back Billy Hatcher.
Gunbunga must. But,
the other one that sticks out for me as really underappreciated is Kirby Air Ride.
Oh yeah, I never played a Kirby game. Do you know that?
Oh, I think you'd enjoy it. That Kirby, well, obviously it's mostly a sort of a platformer one, but Kirby Air Ride was a racing game, but the thing that made that game was not its racing mode. It was a multiplayer mode called City Trial, and the way it worked is that you would start out on a very bad ship that just had awful stats, and that you could go around and you would find little power-ups, but you could also find entirely new ships, and that you would go around for like 5 to 7 minutes. It was this giant sprawling city. There would be events that could happen of like the rail stations could catch on fire, or suddenly half of the power-ups would be fakes and they would actually hurt you. And then at the end of that time, everyone would be put into a one-off mini game with their ships that they had spent the past couple minutes building up. And it would be anything from like a one-lap race to like whose ship can fly the farthest. It was super fun, and I've said I would pay full $60 just to have City Trial on Nintendo Switch Online. I don't need the rest of the game.
Noted.
It is the amount of hours that I spent with friends just jamming City Trial games back to back to back.
Not gonna lie, I'm impressed you still have all your games. Oh, dude, Rizzo, I took a picture of my game shelf that we're gonna share later.
Why don't we move on over that?
Sure. But speaking of underrated GameCube games, I remember there was one more. So underrated, I can't even remember the exact title. But it was like a Graffiti Kingdom game. Oh, that's my art.
Graffiti Kingdom. I
Yeah,
don't.
it was like either called Graffiti Kingdom or like Doodle something. I don't remember. But basically, you go in and it's like Pokemon sort of, except you draw your monsters or your creations or whatever you wanted to make them, and they would fight other doodles. It was really
Oh,
fun. And like when
I
you doodled
vaguely.
them,
That's ringing a bell.
and it was
I don't
really cool
remember the
because
name
it
either.
wasn't like 2D. It wasn't 2D. Like your drawings became 3D.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was crazy. It was really fun though.
It's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to look that up after the show and remind myself what that game was.
Yeah, no, cause you know. Oh, it is
Okay,
Graffiti
so
Kingdom?
it is
All right,
Graffiti
good.
Kingdom. All right.
Good.
Cool, cool.
I can't always trust my childhood memory because I misremember things all the time.
But yeah, well, we do have some of your art here that actually, funny enough, I had to, during the starting soon screen, I realized that I hadn't actually put the photos of the shelves in OBS yet, so I had to go into studio mode and do that. But we also have some of Fang's art here, so I suppose while we have this one up, go on and talk about this particular piece that it's actually related to a game that you were playing just the other day.
This is my Yakuza 7 art that I drew for Yakuza 7 promotion. Thank you. I did it in like a night.
That's like I say this as somebody who has no artistic ability whatsoever. I'm always just super impressed by people who are able to, do it in any amount of time. But, when I hear somebody say that they did it in a night, they did it in a day, that's really cool. That I guess was it just you started and you got on a roll, sort of lost track of time, or was this something that just for you wound up being a little bit simpler and didn't take as long as perhaps a more complex piece?
No, it took a while. I didn't. At the time, I was like using like a promo image of just my face photoshopped onto Yakuza 7 promo images, and I'm like, I want an actual piece because this game is gonna last a long time, so I want like a nice official piece to be using for every night that I announce my Yakuza stream. So I threw that together.
I really like it. Did you? I'm guessing you didn't do the background part.
No,
Or is that just-
that's from that's the tattoo on
yeah.
Ichiban's back, and
Mhm.
they have nice quality photos of that online. So I just slapped that on as a background, changed the colors around a little.
Yeah, so this is a awesome piece. Very fun, obviously
you.
very different style from your usual caveman attire to be in that really sleek sort of maroon, blazer and suit pants. It very nice.
I do cut a dashing figure, don't I?
Yes, indeed. But I do have that game shelf one. Here's the game shelf, and you can't see everything, but I actually have the larger image pulled up on my end so I can sort of zoom in on stuff. But one, I love the setup. That this is a very clean setup. I like the plushies lining the top, and I do appreciate that there's not one, but two meat on bone plushies in that bottom shelf.
Yeah, they're snacks for an emergency.
Yep, always have to have rations.
They're a secret tool that'll help us later.
Now I'm trying to find where on here is the GameCube shelf. That's it's the third from the top on the right side.
Third from the top on the right side?
I think so.
Oh, you're looking at the PS2 games?
Oh, are the PS2?
Oh, the GameCube games are third from the. Oh wait, third from the right. Oh, I was looking at left. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yes,
You didn't even see, like,
Demon
the
King
GameCube
was
controller.
zoom enhance. It said that I'm actually zooming in on my end. That way we can still see Fang because unfortunately this was a very large photo. That the one that we actually have of Fang's manga shelf was too powerful for Discord. So I had to download that one separately, but we do have that as well. I also see it's not on the same shelf, but on the other side, those are Donkey Konga bongos.
Yeah,
And I do remember Donkey Konga. That was a fun game. Just
it was. It was.
I don't think I played Donkey Konga 2 or Jungle Beat or whichever, that they had a platformer one that you used the bongos as a controller, and I didn't play that one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever play either of those, or just the original Donkey
A
Konga?
little. Yeah, I mainly played the original.
Mm. Did you have a favorite song on there?
It's been a really long time. I actually don't remember. I wasn't as obsessed with those games as I was others. So those things aren't really as committed to my memory.
Gotcha. Well, were there any other ones before we move around to the rest of the shelves on GameCube that really are committed to memory?
Oh yeah. So I talked about the ones that I think are underrated, but I didn't talk about my favorites. My second favorite is can you believe Sonic Adventure actually is probably Sonic Adventure 2 is probably my third favorite, I think.
That's still fair.
My second favorite is Wind Waker.
Oh yeah.
It's a really big contender for my favorite Zelda game as well, but I do have others that I'm very partial to, so I can't quite give it the number one spot, or maybe I can, or maybe I can't. I don't know. But my first favorite, and I've never told anyone this, your show is gonna be the
exclusive
first time.
here on Vtuber Talk.
I'm gonna tell you what my favorite video game is of all time. I've never told anyone. I've always kept it a secret.
I'm so excited.
My favorite video game of all time is Tales of Symphonia.
Ooh, a very good choice. I have one friend who, if it's not his favorite game of all time, it has to be up there because he has 100%ed that game. And here's the thing.
I have too! And I've played it through like 5 times, like entirely.
And that's the thing, though, that I remember him telling me that there's a particular event in the game where you have to choose one of your party members to hang out with. And depending on who you choose, you get a unique item. And that if you're going to 100% the game, you have to replay the game in order to get all those iterations. And that he did, in fact, play, I don't know if it was like 5 or 8 times through in order to be able to actually get all of the items.
There's a few instances like that, like when you choose to hang out with someone, you get like an outfit or something. Sometimes it's an item, but yeah, if you want all of those things, you have to play it through again. There's also another thing where it's like the demon weapons, the cursed weapons or whatever. I forget. My memory is so bad. Even though I've played this game like more than anything in my life. And that's something that you have to beat when you play the game through a second time because it's just like too powerful.
So,
it's too powerful.
So is that like an optional boss on the side, or is it?
Yeah, it's an optional boss on the side. My bad.
I know, because I've sometimes seen like there's a boss that is super powerful, and you're supposed to lose to them, but just those hidden bosses, and you still get them. Well, I feel like you get them actually a fair bit nowadays, but yeah, those are always fun. They're the most satisfying to beat because you know, all right, I worked for this one.
Wait, I played Tales of Symphonia not realizing that skits were a thing? No! You missed so many good interactions! Rizzo, go back and play it. It's instant.
I'm guessing skits were like character interactions that you could have as cutscenes?
Yeah, sort of. They like, okay, so they just play while you, actually no, the game does pause. But yeah, they're really simple. They're just like character portraits while the text goes by. But the game is like really incredibly well written, and like the skits are not boring. Like if you play like a modern Tales game and you read a skit, chances are it's boring and you don't really care, and you're okay with skipping a few skits. But like the skits in Tales of Symphonia are so genuinely interesting, and you like, all the characters are so well written, like no one is left out in terms of being well written, that like you actually care about what all the skits have to say, because they're all like little insights into these characters. Like they give you a little more depth, they give you a little more information, and you watch and you read them, and you're like, that totally makes sense. Yes, that is something that they would do. Oh my god, it's just really good. It's just a really well done game. And localization was perfect. And did you know they did the PS3, and it's available on Steam for like $5, but the ports aren't really good. I would go back and play it on GameCube, but not everyone has GameCube. So I understand.
I remember, I think I rented it from Blockbuster, and it was just the intro to the game is so long. This is like a 60-hour game. It's not a short one. So
Yeah.
I never really got past the opening act of it all. So that's one that I know is, a deficiency for me, that I've missed out on that one. But I'm not shocked to hear you say that Tales of Symphonia is your favorite game of all time, because, like I said, I have a couple of friends who swear by that game, and that I know was a
It's
really,
fucking
really beloved one.
fantastic. And like I get that a lot of people haven't played it because a lot of people just don't enjoy JRPGs. Like they don't have like they've got fucking commitment issues, okay, and it's fine. but dude, oh my god, I love JRPGs, but of all of them, Tales of Symphonia remains the most important to me because it was actually a game that helped me as a person grow a lot.
Wow.
I was really like socially inept when I was younger, and that game like did a lot to be like, hey, don't do that.
Learning, yay!
Yeah.
That's awesome. That I was going to ask, actually, what sets it apart from all the other Tales games, because obviously it's still a very beloved franchise, and that I know Tales of Arise, I think it was, came out last year and actually got pretty good reviews.
That's okay.
So was there something about Symphonia that really sets it apart, or do you think it's partially because of when you played it that it sticks out for you?
A lot of people tell me it's just nostalgia, but I've replayed that game enough that I'm like, no, it's definitely not that. Like, it is like just a well put together game. Like, the writing is phenomenal, the storytelling is amazing. It's kind of, you could argue it's like your basic JRPG plot, but the way they tell it is so superior that it doesn't even matter. And I've never been more invested in like a group of people. I think the last time I got invested, like really invested in like a modern JRPG, was probably Dragon Quest. Was it 11? I think it was 11. Fantastic game. But they just do a really good job writing out all their characters and fleshing them out and making you care about them and making you care about what is happening. That I just really can't recommend it enough. Plus, like the English dub is really, really good. Like, they had Robin from Teen Titans as Lloyd.
Yeah, no, I distinctly remember that because I recognize the voice. And
the voice acting's really good. Occasionally you get like a weird line from like some like NPC or something, but like it's negligible.
Yeah, because I watched my friend play it a fair bit, and just in general, that was some of the top voicing that you were going to get at that point in time, because this was still mid-2000s when voice acting in both video games and anime was going to be a lot more hit or miss. That when it was good, but there were some pretty stilted performances that some pretty big franchises put out there.
Yeah, but Symphonia doesn't have that problem at all. Like, everyone, like, Kurato sounds amazing, Colette sounds amazing, Zelos, Rain, Genas, everyone was perfectly casted. I love it so much.
Did you have a favorite character? Just either, that you
Lloyd.
identified with them, or Lloyd? Fair?
Lloyd Irving. He's my favorite. I actually have a really big, don't tell anyone, I actually have a really big Tales of Symphonia shrine.
Okay, don't worry. I definitely won't tell anybody. This is definitely not going up on YouTube.
I couldn't hear Lloyd as Robin the entire time. Yeah, no, absolutely. But he's like a really good voice actor, so like whatever. I loved it. He was perfect. He was perfect as Lloyd. The Japanese.
Now I'm gonna need to go back and play that game, because I remember that was like the only. I think it was the only GameCube game that was 2 discs. I remember it definitely being 2 discs.
Yeah, it was 2 discs. I don't remember if there were any other that were 2 discs. If there were, I didn't own them.
Yeah, it's kind of preposterous that even nowadays you only rarely see a game that's going to actually be big enough to have to be 2 discs.
Enter the Matrix was 2 discs? I see. Secret between the two of you, and also chat and future viewers.
Shh, don't worry. Definitely nobody else is going to know.
All right, people watching the VOD, don't tell. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell, but do like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Thank you for the lurk. FTW, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Thanks for stopping by and enjoy the
For
look.
the win.
For the win, because I want to say, yeah, I almost said or, but I was like, no, it's OBR. I don't.
It's almost, bro. For the win, bro.
But
For
you
the win,
also
bro. 2000. I'm sorry. Continue.
you also mentioned Wind Waker as your second favorite, and
Yeah.
as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, oh crap, I forgot about that one when you were asking me about mine, because Wind Waker's probably my number 3.
Yeah.
It's
Well, then
definitely up
what's your
there.
number 2?
It would probably be Melee. My guess is it would be Melee. I would
Okay.
have to go back and look at my GameCube library again to actually be sure, but
Yeah, Wind
but
Waker was
it's up there.
phenomenal.
That was actually the first Legend of Zelda game that I played start to finish, the one that I beat. That
Really?
since I didn't own an
That's
N64, it meant that I missed out on Ocarina of Time in Majora's
Oh
Mask.
no, that sucks.
Yeah, that it was. To this day, I still have not actually played them. I've had so many folks tell me about them, and just as a gamer nowadays, we have an embarrassment of riches that you have the list of games that you know you need to play, the classics that you missed for one reason or another.
Oh yeah,
and
me
for every
with
game
Kirby.
that for every game that you cross off that list, 3 to 5 more get added.
Yeah. But you had a very close chance to have played those games, because I remember when I got my GameCube, it came with the Zelda Collector's Edition or whatever it was called.
Yeah, mine didn't come with the collector's edition, but I know that they existed. And I do
Yeah, I
remember
have
those.
mine still. It's on the shelf. And basically, for anyone that doesn't know, it has Zelda 1 and 2 on it, and I think was Link to the Past on it. I don't remember. And it had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on it.
Yeah, I did play. I played. It was Link to the Past on the Wii Virtual Console, so
Oh,
I did
really?
get that one. I played Link's Awakening on the original Game Boy. That was one that I remember renting from Blockbuster just several times. You mentioned
Oh yeah!
renting going on from Blockbuster over and over again. That was one of them. Blockbuster.
Dude, can I tell a weird Blockbuster story?
Please.
It's not really that weird, but it confounds me, and I feel like I'm the only one it confounds. But you remember Conker's Bad Fur Day, right? For Nintendo 64?
Yes, I never actually played it. I am
Me either.
I'm
so
very much
gross
aware
looking.
of it.
Yeah,
I'm
no
completely
thank
aware.
you. Like, there's like, I don't want to fight like a poo monster with corn for teeth. Are you kidding me? No thank you. But I knew about it. And then one day I'm at Blockbuster and I'm looking through the Game Boy games, and I see that there's a Conker Game Boy game. But it doesn't look anything like Conker's Bad Fur Day. But it is Conker. It's the squirrel. It's the squirrel named Conker. It's the same franchise. So I rented it. And it was a cute game. It was adorable. Nothing gross happened. I was just
Huh.
running around in a forest, grabbing acorns, fighting big evil acorns. I don't remember what the bad guys were. And it was damn right. It's your favorite Nintendo. I'm so sorry, Jorb. It's gross. No, thank you. But yeah, the Game Boy game, it was like cute, and there's like cute little houses everywhere, and there's like flowers and stuff, and nothing gross was happening. It was really weird.
Makes me wonder
It's
if it,
original?
like,
Is it?
I guess it couldn't have been a knockoff. But that begs the question.
Delinquent says it's the original. Delinquent
Huh.
is pretty smart, so I believe her.
So was Conker originally a family-friendly game that just got corrupted, basically?
By Rare? I don't know. I have no idea, but that game was cute. The original Conker 64 is a wholesome platformer, and Game Boy game was before Conker's rebrand. Oh, intended to be a wholesome platformer. Oh, wow, that's something I didn't know.
Huh.
It was supposed to be cute. What? That's whoa. Today I learned something. Neat.
So I've zoomed in super far on the shelf image that I have that I can see Tales of Symphonia is the one on the far right. I think it's then Star Fox, then I think it's Spider-Man. There's a couple others at Mario Kart's near the middle. I think that might be, I don't know if that's Pokemon Coliseum, but I know
Yeah.
on the left is Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Oh man, I love GameCube Animal Crossing. I'd play that until so late.
Oh yeah, that I've played every Animal Crossing since the first one, since GameCube, and just still holds a very special place in my heart.
Make them rude again. Make them rude. I believe you wanted
Yes.
to
Yes.
adultify it for the Nintendo 64. It makes it stand out against the crowd. It sure did. It sure did stand out. That definitely worked.
So I guess moving on from the GameCube era, that you have all these other shelves that there's a whole bunch of DS games next to the GameCube ones. I see a bunch of PS2 games. There's a second shelf of DS games, PS4, Wii U, that you've actually spanned many consoles. Where would you like to go from here?
Oh, I need to clarify that not every single game on the shelf is mine. I actually share the shelf with my roommate. So a lot of, I think most of the stuff they own is like Sega Genesis games and stuff like that. But for me, wait, what was the question again?
Yeah, or more of just, pick another console that you want to sort of do a deep dive on if you'd like.
Maybe PS1? I actually haven't played a lot of I played for PS1 I played, Final Fantasy 9. I played some Final Fantasy 8. I played Echo
Okay, so
Knight.
maybe not a specific console, but JRPGs in general. That you mentioned that it is a genre that is very near and dear to your heart. Tales of Symphonia being your number one. When it comes to JRPGs, is there something that you look for? Because even in JRPGs, there's still a lot of different games and styles in that genre. That is there something that is particularly likely to hook you for a game, or do you just enjoy the battle system?
So the first thing I look for when I pick up a JRPG is whether or not I care about the characters, because that's what it all starts with. Like,
Yep.
you don't really start off knowing a lot about the story. You're usually some little guy that's in the dark or whatever, and you're just doing like small town quests. So like you need to make me care about the character right off the bat and their friends. So I don't like it when like it's really like how do you say generic standard, like, oh, I'm a girl and I'm your small town friend. My personality is that I'm a girl and I'm always worried about you. Like, that's boring. Get that out of here. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad at articulating, but like just
You're good.
you need to be interesting. You need to be interesting, and your town needs to be interesting, and your friends need to be interesting.
And the writing, it's the plot and the characters that make you care about the game, and that's really what brings you in. Because one of the things that JRPGs are known for is that they have these expansive plots and that they have good characters, whereas just a lot of other games, like, platformers are rarely going to be delving into the psyches of Mario or Banjo. And that for first-person shooters, that you're usually going to be following maybe the plot of, whatever armed conflict you're playing through, but especially back then, you weren't going to really have, the fleshed-out characters and the deep actual plot with all that. But JRPGs very much... that's the bread and butter of it all, in addition to some of the combat mechanics that they're really known for, having these intricate stories and these well-written characters, and that's what really interests you most.
Yeah, that's the big sell. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, JRPG, oh, you fight God. You know what? Yeah, a lot of times you do, because what's bigger and grander than fighting God? But like, that's not really the focus of JRPGs. It's the characters and how they tell their story. But Tifa's in shambles. No, no. Tifa's cool. Tifa's like, she was like the trendsetter for that, sort of. Not really, but you know what? She did a good job of it. Tifa gets a pass. I don't hate Tifa. Tifa's cool, even though I am an EROS man myself. But anyway, no Tifa hate. No Tifa hate. But oh god, what was the question? Help.
Just sort of, I guess, going from there, were there any other JRPGs that have really stuck out for you over the years?
Oh yeah, somebody mentioned Tales of Abyss earlier. Tales of Abyss was also a really fantastic Tales of game. I don't think Tales of games actually have that many good ass titles. I feel like their best games were probably Symphonia, Abyss. I know a lot of people like Vesperia. I wasn't able to get into Vesperia myself. I might give it another chance one day, but a lot of people like Vesperia. And Berseria. I feel like Berseria was their most recent good title. I think it was the last good title they made. I know a lot of people like Arise, but I played it and I just wasn't feeling it. I mean, no hate to Arise likers. I mean, if you like it, that's good. Good. Keep the Tales fandom alive. Hopefully they'll make another banger someday. But those are my favorites. And those are the last few that I played that were like, yeah, these are good.
Yeah.
As someone who beat Arise, that game sucked. Oh no, Hugh!
Aww.
But yeah. Other than Tales, I really like the Final Fantasy series, of course. My favorite Final Fantasy games were 9. I still haven't played 6. I know people really love 6. I played 8. I didn't finish 8, but I had a really good time. I played 7, of course, the original. Fucking fantastic. I really like the remake too. I really, really loved the original, and I really, really loved the remake. I love them both. I think they're both fantastic.
Yeah, I really respect the remake for just unshackling itself from its source material and being like, okay, we're going to, as the title suggests, remake it. And that's not a port. It's not a graphics up, just total recreation, that we are actually going to remake it and that we're going to let things be different.
I'm so excited, dude. I don't want to spoil anything, but when that character showed up at the end of Intergrade, you know who I'm talking about?
I
Holy
do not,
shit.
because I have not played it yet.
All right, I'll keep my mouth shut. Zestiria, Demon King Ruzo, thank you for bringing up Zestiria. That game is dog shit. Would not recommend it. I know people really like it because the boys kind of have like a maybe romantic thing going on, which I do appreciate, but the story, the characters, shit was boring. Also, you couldn't go inside it. Okay, here's another pet peeve of mine. If you're making a JRPG and I can't explore, then it's dog shit. If I can't go into random people's homes, if I can't dig through your drawers and go into your kitchen and all that shit, it fucking sucks. Like what? Like why are you gonna make a whole
50%
town?
of the doors that I see can't be opened. I'm disappointed.
Yes. Why is the point of putting me in a town that I can walk around in if I can't go inside all the different doors and stuff? And like another thing I hated about Zestiria was that all the shops were like outside, like they were like little stalls or something. Like they'd have like they'd be attached to a building, but it would just be a window you walked up to. So I couldn't actually go inside the shop. Stupid. And any building you could go inside of was like story related, so it was boring. I just did not care. I hated it.
Yeah,
you can tell they just ran out of money and time. Yep. Yeah, they've been getting a little lazy.
I can tell from looking at the shelf of DS games that you are a Pokemon fan, because I think there was, let me count that again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pokemon.
Yep, 6 Pokemon games.
Vote for? I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I usually buy every generation of Pokemon games that comes out. I don't play it competitively though. I just like to.
Yeah, no, that's very much me as well. That I'm gonna play through the game. That I'll do the post game content. I liked in Sword and Shield that they had. I forget what the collaborative raid thing, that it wasn't the normal raids, but the one in the expansion pack where you could go through this like multi-level dungeon to fight a legendary Pokemon. That I enjoyed that, but I never got into competitive. I like watching competitive, and actually the Pokemon World Championships was just this past weekend, and I've watched a little bit of the VODs that, fortunately.
Can I ask you to play a video?
Sure, yeah.
Yes. So actually, I competed in my first Pokemon tournament this year. It was a tournament hosted by Wafo Bafo, and it's really unique because it doesn't feature people who play Pokemon competitively. It features VTubers, and so a lot of people don't really know what they're doing. They don't have like the strats and know-hows that like competitive players have, but they make teams centered around like their theme or whatever, so that's really interesting. And like I said, it's VTubers. Yeah, it's really cool. But recently they have started getting a little like smart in how they play, thanks to the tournament organizers who helped them out. But let me give you the recent
Now, actually,
trailer.
now that I think about it, the thing that I worry about is, like I said, I do not have a particularly powerful computer that it's able to stream pretty fine, but when I was downloading the McDonald's picture, that it caused the stream to chug. So I'm actually kind of worried that if I try to...
This is on Twitter, so if you just want to like display capture it really quick, like full screen display capture. Yeah, I'm plugging Fluffy Barrage baby, whose third season is upcoming, and I think, what is the date for that again? It's the 27th and the 28th, right? It's 2 days. It's a two-day thing, or did I make that up?
Let's see.
So it's upcoming really soon. Yeah, it's this weekend.
Sorry, I'm having to go in and figure out, okay, how
No,
am
you're
I gonna
fine. You're
get
fine. I can talk to chat in the meantime. I think
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Third season. Yeah. And there's gonna be a couple of my favorite VTubers who are in it, and I'm so excited for them. Oh yeah, and I'm also in it. I'm commentating. I forgot about that.
Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
That's super fun. That one of the things that I've always enjoyed, like I said, I don't play competitive Pokemon, but that I will watch it, is that you don't need to be a competitive player to be able to comfortably watch competitive play.
Yeah. The reason I really show Fluffy Barrage though is that even though it's like a competitive event, usually if you're watching like a bunch of competitive players, they'll be using the same like 5 to 10 Pokemon, because like they're like the busted ones, right? That are meant for competitions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, like people are just like using Pokemon that are like their brand, right?
Oh, actually,
they're
no,
Pokemon
that's
that you
not
won't
right.
usually see in like tournaments and stuff. Whoa, OBS.
Oh, nope. Oh, yes. Stop. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, Team Ruzo.
Okay, that's what it was.
It's a good chance to showcase some not commonly seen Pokemon. Precisely. Thank you, Polly.
One. Where did it go?
OBS?
No, it's not even OBS. I'm trying to find the right window.
Oh, I was responding to a comment. My bud. Oh yeah, I mentioned earlier that I share the shelf with my roommate as well. A lot of the SNES games are also theirs. But I've played some. Of course, I've played like Tomba, Joe Max, stuff like. Tomba's not on the SNES. I just said that because it's on my poster behind me. But Joe and Mac have played that. I don't actually own it though, so boo. But Tomba was for the PS1, right? I played that. That was a really good time. Oh, we have a screen.
All right, now I need to double check. Don't have that in yet. I need to make sure that I get audio from here. Can I get audio from here? I should be able to. But I can. Coco, welcome in. Sorry, I am trying to figure out tech right now. I don't do window capture a lot. I can't figure out why I can't get sound from it. I might just need to do desktop audio capture at that point. If I do that, then we will hear you twice over, which will be weird. So,
well, I just won't talk.
Yeah, we'll probably have to do that. And
okay.
What I'll have to do is, okay, so I'm gonna mute that, and I will add in
computers.
Audio output. Wait, that's not. I don't need that one. Where'd it go? Okay. Let's see here. Why is it not showing up? Says, ah, so sorry, folks. Why is that not? And it's probably chugging. I'm sorry.
Is
Sorry I wasn't able to get with audio. I didn't want to keep everybody here forever. But yeah, actually, so I run on a very weak computer because prior to starting VTuber Talk, I didn't stream. And it was going to be the type of thing that, when I bought it, I was like, I don't need anything super fancy because, well, I don't stream. And then VTuber Talk happened 6 months later. Oops.
you're doing the best you
And
can. It's okay. It's okay.
yeah, and that it's able to comfortably run a just chatting stream with some basic audio. That's why I don't have anything super fancy with the overlay. But it also means that, if I try to play a video or if I try to download a picture, that things are going to chug. So I'm actually planning on upgrading in the coming months. And so hopefully soon we'll be able to do things like that and have it be much higher quality. So thank you all for putting up with that for the moment. But, you were still able to see, even if at only a couple frames per second, that, all the different participants, that there's actually a couple of them who are in the chat right now that I saw.
Yeah. Good eye.
And Jorb is here, so looking forward to that. But you mentioned that you participated in one of the first ones of these, so I'm curious, what was your team?
My team was, oh god, I don't even remember the Pokemon's name because I just named them names that I liked. Hold on, I can send you a picture of my team. But mainly, there was Aerodactyl, who's my favorite Pokemon. I had some Pokemons recommended to me that I added based on which ones I liked best.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you had a lot of fossil Pokemon for obvious reasons.
Just Aerodactyl. I was gonna have the Mammoth on my team, but he's real allergic to everything, so we ended up having to not use him. That made me sad. FangGuu could be here. Yeah, here it is. Here's my team. Ta-da! Oh yeah, Gengar, of course. I love Gengar. The silly penguin with the ice head.
Yeah, Ice Q, I see
Ice Cube,
Gastrodon.
Charizard, yeah, Gastrodon,
And,
that's right. I named him Booger, so I forgot what he was actually called.
It does look like a booger now that you mention it.
He does look like a
And then I think it's Mian Chao is the last one there. That's the, I think it's fighting in Psychic.
Yeah, Min Chao is the last addition to my team because we needed fighting type, and I don't have a lot of favorite fighting types, but I do like Min Chao, so we added that one.
And actually, the image you sent me here has it's his first Pokemon game, Pokemon Yellow, which, fun enough, was mine as well. That I mentioned I had a Game Boy Color prior to the GameCube, and it was for my 7th birthday, I think, that I got a Game Boy Color with Pokemon Yellow. So that was my first as well. But your favorite is Crystal, and Crystal, by all rights, should be my favorite. I never owned Crystal, but Gen 2 is my favorite generation. That I put in well over 200 hours on that silver cartridge that I had.
Oh, I loved Crystal so much because I was I think it came out with Gold and Silver too, right? But
Yeah.
Crystal was the one I got because I liked I'm so sorry, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Suicune.
Yep. Yeah.
Suinkito.
Suicune. Yeah, that's the
Suicune's
English one
right?
at least.
Good.
Yeah.
I really like Suinko, and I thought the cartridge was so pretty, so that's the one I went with. And the introduction of the unknown and all that stuff, it was by far the most coolest and mysterious Pokemon game I've ever played. So it's really near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, because that was the third one of the generation, so it was basically Gold, Silver plus plus. That it had more story, it had extra features, a few more developed things. I think it was also the first Pokemon game with animated sprites.
Oh yeah, I don't
Uh,
really remember, but I believe you.
Yeah, it was a really really cool one, and just the music in Gen 2, it
Mm-hmm.
for me
Yes.
just still hits so good that the rearranged versions for Heart Gold, Soul Silver were solid, no complaints there, but something about the Game Boy chiptune style for those songs that is peak nostalgia for me.
Yeah. Good taste, Jay.
You mentioned that Aerodactyl is your favorite Pokemon.
Yes, that's my boy.
Yeah. That mine is probably Metagross. That I just think giant psychic supercomputer tank is very cool.
Yeah.
I've just always enjoyed its design. Going farther back,
Wait, hold on. I want to talk about why Aerodactyl is my favorite. I think everyone already knows at this point why I latched on to Aerodactyl, but I'm gonna tell you again. Sorry, chat. So whenever I was watching the Pokemon anime, the original, the season 1, season 2, there was an episode where they encounter Aerodactyl, and Aerodactyl tries to fucking eat Ash. And I thought that was the most metal shit ever. I thought that was so fucking metal.
did
I
it
was
eat
like,
him?
dude,
I remember it flew off with
no,
him.
he tried. Obviously he didn't succeed, or else we wouldn't have like 20 more seasons of Pokemon. But but yeah, he tried to eat Ash, and I was, dude, that's so fucking metal. And like nobody would mess with me if I had an Aerodactyl. And I just liked that his mouth was always open. He had all these razor sharp teeth. He was so intimidating looking, and he tried to eat children. Like I felt like if I had an Aerodactyl, like nobody would try to mess with me. So I really like Aerodactyl. That's the same reason I like Gyarados too. Gyarados is also one of my favorites. I just like really intimidating and scary looking Pokemon.
Yeah. That Gyarados, and obviously Gyarados had a role to play in Gen 2, being the first intentionally shiny Pokemon that was sort of the one to introduce it and added, the whole little subplot at Lake of Rage, so everyone was going to be playing through the game and have a Gyarados, and it was a good Pokemon in the early gens, and it got better in the later ones because being a water Pokemon in gens 1 through 3, because of how the attacks worked, that it had a high attack stat, but water moves were considered special. So in actuality, it was in Gen 4 when the physical special split happened that Gyarados went from being good to just crazy.
Mid. Oh yeah. I was gonna say, was it Gen 2 that introduced the red Gyarados?
Yeah, that was Gen 2.
Yeah, dude, that was the coolest shit ever. Dude, oh my god, my red Gyarados, love of my life.
Yeah. Now, do you think that you liking Aerodactyl had any influence on your interest of, prehistoric things in general?
Probably.
Or do you think that you already had the interest?
Yeah, I've always thought dinosaurs were like the coolest shit ever. But like, who doesn't think that? I don't know.
I absolutely had a dinosaur phase when between the ages of like 4 and 6, that I wanted to be a paleontologist. That was one of those early dreams.
I still want to be a paleontologist, but I'm so dumb. I don't think I can do it. I'm a caveman, dude. I don't have the qualifications. I don't even have a birth certificate. But like, yeah, dude, dinosaurs are so fucking cool. Oh, they're so big. How did they walk on this planet? Well, I guess I know how. The atmosphere was a lot thicker, and it was easier for them to fly and breathe and all that cool stuff. But like, oh man, coolest shit I ever seen. You know what? Everyone's always like, oh man, the people in Jurassic Park were so stupid. Don't they know what's gonna happen? Blah blah blah. Why do they keep doing this? Why do they keep making that mistake? Dude, I would make that mistake as many times as it took. I would bring back dinosaurs if only I could. That is a dream come true. I don't care if humanity dies in the process. It's good. So be it. A worthy sacrifice.
They were here before us. They were.
Yeah, give it back to them. Give it back.
Yeah, dinosaurs were so cool, and obviously, I grew up, like I mentioned, in Maryland, which meant I was very close to the Smithsonian, so I was able to go and see just the big T-Rex there and lots of different fossils, and that I was really, really into dinosaurs for a very, very long time, and
That's so
sadly,
cool.
it was, it was early enough in my life that I wasn't going to be able to like read up on any of the really cool technical stuff. And it was just, the basics of,
Yeah.
but
What's your favorite dinosaur?
like T-Rex feels like such a cop-out answer because
No,
it's
you're
a
valid.
T-Rex, but
T-Rexes are
just
cool. No,
it
those
would
are
either
awesome.
be that or it'd either be that or Stegosaurus.
Yeah, Stegosaurus is really cool. I like the Stegosaurus too. For me, like I mentioned before, I like things that look just horrible and terrifying. So I like the Plesiosaurus. I
Mm,
also had this phase in my life where I was like, when you remember that phase in everyone's life where you're going to the school library and you're checking out books about mummies and cryptids and stuff like that.
yep.
One of them I picked up was about the Loch Ness monster, and dude, I thought I was a genius. I thought no one else had ever thought of this. I'm like, my goodness, the Loch Ness monster looks
It's
a
just
lot like a plesiosaurus. My
Mhm.
gosh, well this confirms it. There must be a plesiosaurus in the lake. I will be the one to go to the loch and discover the plesiosaurus, and we will have dinosaurs again. Haha, I'm a genius. So I really like the plesiosaurus because of
that
that.
of all the cryptids out there, the Loch Ness monster is the one that I say, yes, I could believe that some descendant of the plesiosaurus was able to survive because
Exactly.
it lived. That I'm not like, yeah, it's a cover up type of thing, but I fully believe that, yeah, that of all the crazy things out there, to say that a small pod of these ancient animals survived, because we found coelacanths, just these ancient Pokemon. Well, not ancient fish that the Relicanth, the Pokemon is based off of, and that those were only discovered in like past 20-30ish years, and that they were deep in the sea and thought to be extinct, but not. That I could fully believe that some other variant of aquatic life that lives really deep down survived, and that occasionally they come up and that they're big and someone sees it and they're gone, because they generally are going to live super deep underwater.
I'm pretty sure that the whole thing that the Loch Ness began with was eventually added. Like the guy came forward and was like, "Yeah, I was just a toy. I was."
Yeah, no,
I was
that
just being a shooter."
yeah.
But I
like
do
that
believe
famous
that
photo
there's
is fake, but
yeah,
I can.
I do believe that there's like still really cool stuff out there to be found. But I don't think, unfortunately, it's going to be a plesiosaur or anything.
Yeah,
that looks like
that
a
is.
plesiosaur.
Yeah, I'm not super gung ho. Like, it's definitely that, but it's just of all the things out there, that's when I glance and I say, yeah, I would at least say that I think it's possible.
Yeah, no, I definitely think there's still like a lot of cool shit to discover out there. Wait, Fangs into Mecha and dinosaurs, but not Zoids. I do like Zoids. I do. I just wasn't like huge into it. I watched that like one season of Zoids that aired on.
The problem with
Cartoon Network.
Zoids is that we didn't get all of it.
Yeah.
That like we had this weird season and a half, and then they just stopped.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but they reran this like dozen episodes over and over and over again.
Mhm.
But it never got far enough to go anywhere. That I have memories of watching Zoids. I can't remember what the plot was. I remember they looked cool.
They did look cool. I like the design of some of the characters, but that's all I remember. But anyway, you want to know a cool Aerodactyl fact?
Please.
Let's see. Hold on, I need to find it because I can't remember it word for word. Let's see. Trivia. Oh, here it is. Aerodactyl, the Pokemon, is the inspiration for the naming of the Aerodactylus, which is a genus of pterosaur. The genus name was chosen in reference to Aerodactyl having traits derived from various pterosaur species.
So it went full circle of Aerodactyl being named for pterodactyl, but then that a new variety of pterodactyl was discovered and named for Aerodactyl.
Yeah, because there was just some nerdy paleontologist out there that's like, oh, I get to name this? Oh shit, Pokemon.
I love it.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it makes me happy. Oh, but also I have another favorite dinosaur, which is the Argentinosaurus. Is that how? Wait, hold on. Argentinosaurus. Yeah, Argentinosaurus. It's the.
I do not know that one.
It's the biggest dinosaur to ever live.
Is it land-based?
Land-based, yes. He looks like a not a plesiosaur, like a brontosaurus,
Brontosaurus,
but
yeah,
much bigger. I got to see its bones displayed at a museum when I was little, and dude, it's fucking huge. It's insane. Like, no way this thing didn't have like arteries you couldn't slide down like a slip and slide. man was big. Pikachu has a science that you named after him too? Really? I want to know about that.
I think there has been a couple of Pokemon that have, just like you said, basically that did nerdy scientists eventually grow up and do actual science things and get to name things, and
Man,
that
that
they
should've
take
been
advantage
me.
of it.
But yeah. Dinosaur. I'm with JRPGs. Going back to JRPGs a little bit, I really love Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And Isla was my favorite party member because she was hot. But she was also a caveman.
That's right, she was.
Yeah.
But I've not played Chrono, but like I said, I'm a big game music nerd, so I know
the music for that game
the
is
music
fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Another JRPG I like is Skies of Arcadia. I really like Skies of Arcadia. I played that on the Dreamcast though, not the Gamecube. I also really like Wild Arms 3. And
The Wild Arms series, that I actually had to look that one up because you mentioned it when we spoke earlier. That's one that just, I guess, I'm not sure if it was a combination of didn't get a wide release and promotion in the US, but also I don't think there have been that. Are there any recent ones, or is it only on
for
Dreamcast?
Wild Arms?
Yeah.
I think there's a 4th game and maybe a 5th and 6th. I don't know. I've not played any past 3. I didn't even know they existed until recently. But yeah, they did. I guess they don't get a lot. I feel like a lot of JRPGs, especially like in the PS1, PS2, and that kind of area, weren't getting a lot of promotion.
Yeah.
So. Oh yeah, Rizzo, you asked earlier how I got into Dragon Quest. It was actually Dragon Quest 8 that got me into Dragon Quest. I went back and played other games after playing 8, but it was 8 that started me off, and I really love Dragon Quest 8. But my favorite now is Dragon Quest 11. Oh wait, technically that's not true. That's technically not true. Dragon Quest 8 being my first is technically not true. My first one was called Dragon Warrior 3. I had that on my Game Boy Color, and that was the first Dragon Quest game I played. And for the longest time, I didn't know that Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest were the same thing. I thought they were like by the same creators, but like were like a totally different thing. But it was just because like they wanted to like localize it, and I guess Quest isn't cool, but Warrior is. That's stupid. But yeah, that was the first one I played, and I did really like Dragon Quest 3. But I went on and played 8, and that's when I got like hooked. Like that's when I was like, oh shit! And yeah, I did. I played Dragon Quest Builders. That was a lot of fun. I really love Dragon Quest Builders too. I've played Dragon Quest 4, and
was there something about 8 that really hooked you? Was it again just the story or the characters in that one had something that was a little bit extra?
I feel like the writing has been consistent throughout most of the games. Like they're really funny and cute and quirky, and that held true in 8 as well. But I think it was really just I am very, very, very drawn to like 3D, colorful 3D, low poly video games, which is what Dragon Quest 8 was. Visually it activated me, and so I think that was the first draw in. The characters were really good. I especially liked, I already forgot his name, but the short little squanchy guy, but he looked like a little Viking or something. He was my favorite. And there was like this village you can go into where like all the monsters are like, we don't want to be bad. We just want to live in our little village and not bother anyone. So cute. Oh yeah, that was art I did for the Dragon Quest. I think it was 25th anniversary. That it's no longer their 25th anniversary. We're getting closer to 30th, I think. Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically, but yeah, and ever since I've just been really, really into Dragon Quest. They make really fantastic games and have been forever. Big respect. Also,
Yeah.
fantastic music.
Yeah, I know that the main theme of it, just iconic, so good. And that for this particular art, like you mentioned, that you did that for an anniversary one. That this is you just sort of in the classic armor, stomping on a little slime.
Yeah, I have a lot of like cute Dragon Quest memorabilia in my home. I just don't have it like all consolidated in one space so I could take a picture. But yeah, I really
Well,
like
actually, I
Dragon
think is it? Yeah, no, there is a slime up on that top shelf right there.
Quest.
We're hiding behind. I think that's a Sonic figure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Actually, so going back to some of the art that you had, let me see here. Which other one? So we had the Yakuza one. The label on this one was Gojugo Paradise, and I'm guessing that is the game that this is inspired from.
Oh, that's I think a song from the game. This is Parodius.
Yes.
Go Joe Paradise. Yeah, that was the game. Parodius. Yeah, I played that for the first time recently with my good buddy Captain Cube, and it's like an arcade game basically, and it's kind of like, I hate to say Toho, but it's kind of like Toho. And it's just like really, really cute and really funny. There's like so much like interesting stuff going on in the background. So interesting in fact that I kept dying because I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the background.
Oops.
But yeah, it's a really cute, really funny. I had a really good time playing that. And that was the promo art I drew for it.
Yeah, you mentioned you like drawing promo art for your different streams, and that we had this one just says Ayla. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's my Chrono Trigger art.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yes, the cave woman.
Yes.
They like announced something for Chrono Trigger. I think it was announced. There was some big deal, and I'm like, yeah, I love Chrono Trigger too. Ayla was a huge inspiration for me. There is the art I drew for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I suppose, when did you actually get into art? Was it something that you were into when you were much younger and just sort of slowly honed over the course of years, or was it something that you got into later?
According to my cave mother, I was drawing ever since I can hold a pen. She would like buy like these like, do you remember that printer paper that would like come in like a huge stack and it was like all connected at the end?
Yeah, that it would fold and it would have the little perforations on the sides. Old
She would buy
computer
those
paper.
for me. She'd buy those for me and give me like pencils and crayons, and I would just like draw on that forever, and I'd have like huge stacks of like that printer paper, just of drawings and stuff.
Aww.
I didn't start drawing anime stuff until that first season of Pokemon aired on whatever channel, and then from there it was like, you know, the basics like Sailor Moon, Ghibli, whenever Toonami started.
Did you have that classic how to draw anime book?
Ew, no. I had family members try to give those to me, but I was rude and was like, I don't want that. But I did have how to draw manga books that were like solid, like actually good.
Actually useful books.
Yeah, no, I can't remember who the publisher is. Let me see if I can find it. How to draw manga. I'm sure it'll pop up if I go into images. They were published by... Can I get like a non-crunchy photo? There were like these books. They had like this font on every chapter. In every volume. It was like GameStop font.
I didn't see that one, but that's definitely not the quote-unquote classic, Scholastic Book Fair how to draw manga book, which, like you said, was not very useful.
People would be like, "Oh, Fang, look, you should get that." Oh, and I'd be like, "How rude you are to me! Don't you know I am a professional?" I was not a professional, but like, yeah, I was very, very.
I have
picky.
standards. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You want to hear something sad, chat? You want to hear something heartbreaking?
Oh no.
So like I was really into drawing. I loved anime. I loved manga, Girugamesh, whatever. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a booth. I'm gonna get a booth at an anime convention. I'm gonna sell my art. And one of my friends was like, "But do you really think you're good enough to do that?" Like, and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, he's like, "Well, it's just that your style just isn't really polished yet, and I don't know if you'd be able to get a table or something like that." And I took that personally, and then this was like the era in time in which I don't know if a lot of artists remember this, but a lot of anime artists remember this. Noka, tell me if you remember this. Jorb, tell me if you remember this. There was a point in time when a lot of people who were like trying to be animators or like work at Pixar or whatever wanted to like do something with their art career were like, yeah, you're not really gonna get anywhere if you're drawing anime. You're not really gonna get anywhere. You're not gonna be able to get an actual job.
I have heard about that stigma from several past guests of,
Yes.
and also similar for comics.
Yes.
That there have been folks that just, if you're not doing the conventional style, that if you're doing, like you said, the anime style or the comic style, the more stylized, the more niche stuff, that there have been, everything from university professors to other mentors that have said, you probably shouldn't do this, or that you should shy away from this style because
Exactly.
you're gonna be, it's gonna be difficult to find work. And like, I can acknowledge, yes, certain styles are gonna be more commercially popular than others, but I always hated when you hear someone like discourage someone from something. It's one thing to say, hey, just so you know, you will have to get over these hurdles, but
Mhm.
if you work really hard, you can get over these hurdles. There's a difference between that and saying, ooh, you shouldn't do this because these hurdles exist.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, there was a very specific point in time in which this was being like really like beaten into me, and I even had a friend who was like going to intern at Pixar be like, yeah, if you really want to take this seriously, you've got to change your art style. And so I didn't know how to change my art style, nor did I really want to, because that art style was what I enjoyed drawing. And any attempt I made to like deviate from that just didn't work because I wasn't enjoying it anymore. So there was a huge portion of time, like years, where I just didn't draw anymore. I gave up. The only time I drew was like on like a little notebook that nobody else could ever see. It's just my little doodle notebook, and I just did it to like de-stress or like vent or whatever. So like I stopped drawing, and I only recently started drawing again within like recent years because I found it helpful personally.
Mm.
So there's like a lot of years I feel like I missed out on to like improve and like really, polish my art. So I'm not as happy with my art as, I know most artists aren't happy with their art, but I really feel like it could be at a different level already if I had just not been so beaten down by people
Well,
telling me that
better
my
late
art
than never,
wasn't.
and you can't change
Yeah.
the past. That you've picked it back up and you're going. That I know folks who've picked up art only in the past couple of years and have started from effectively zero and are working through it. That at the very least, it seems like when you picked art back up, that you weren't starting from nothing, and even if you had to, get a bit of the rust off, that you still had some of those fundamentals built up, and that you were able to work with that. And obviously, with the you mentioned that Yakuza one was just a one-night project, and that you have this one. And what was the other one? There was yes, the Gris swimsuit, the classic.
Yeah, I needed to get in on the trend. But I wanted to say that even though, for I see a lot of people chat saying that they had this told them to them as well. But I want to say that's bullshit, and keep drawing what you want to draw, because you know what? I can't watch a modern cartoon show on Cartoon Network or Disney or whatever without seeing fucking anime references and anime inspiration in it. There's so much anime in that shit. Don't
Mhm.
listen to them. Just keep drawing anime. Fuck off, alright? People love anime, and I don't care whatever big wig at Cartoon Network or what otherwise is gonna tell you no. He doesn't know what children want. He just knows what worked in fucking 1967 or whatever. He doesn't know shit. So keep drawing anime. Fuck him. Fuck them. Keep it up. Do it. Do it, Jorm. Do it.
Do it, folks. Just do it.
Fucking, Oh, well, Bugs Bunny was big when I was young, and that doesn't look like big Bugs Bunny. Shut the fuck up. John Network is out of touch, exactly.
Yeah, but
Where's
I'm
Mahou?
I'm really glad
Yeah.
that you picked it back up and that just anime and manga, frankly, are bigger than ever. That it's no longer this niche thing where people are gonna
Oh,
look at you
yeah.
funny if you say you watch anime.
Oh,
That
yeah. When
that
I went to school as a kid, I was bullied for liking anime. That absolutely is not a thing now. Everyone and their bully loves anime, so...
there was actually a quote just this week. So I'm not sure if you follow sports all. And Frank, I
No.
don't follow sports a ton. I keep a general awareness. But there is a player in the NBA named Zion Williamson who was really, really, really successful in college and is now in the NBA and has been moderately successful. But because of how big he was in college, that he was able to get a lot of brand deals early on. And some things that he's done collaborations with Naruto, and he's had
What?
Naruto collab sneakers released.
What?
And that he's been just a very vocal proponent of anime. That ever since he got in the league, that he's been, I suppose, helping destigmatize it. And that there was a quote in an article just in the past week where he said, "I think 80% of the NBA watches anime."
Fuck yeah, they do. Dude, I feel like I could stop anyone on the street today. Like, fucking anyone, and be like, hey, what's your favorite anime? And they'd have an answer for me. But like when I was growing up, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I saw anime out in the wild, it was a big deal. I remember one time when I was like, I want to say like 14. I went to the mall and I saw some Full Metal Alchemist cosplayers just chilling, and I ran up and hugged them. I would never do something like that now. I would never. But like, it was so exciting to see like another anime fan at that time that like they were excited to see me too. They fucking hugged me too.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was a big deal of just finding one of your people. That back then, really all there was in terms of mainstream that you wouldn't get that funny look for was Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon. Those three, basically. Those broke into the public consciousness enough, and that many people didn't even... Most folks didn't see Pokemon as anime. That Pokemon was just Pokemon. That it was sort of
I feel
mentally
like that's what
classified
happened with
differently.
Ghibli as well, because I remember like growing up, a lot of kids were watching Ghibli, but I don't think that they or their parents registered that this was like Japanese animation.
Yeah, that it was certainly different animation, that this wasn't Pixar, this wasn't Disney. But I think you're right that it wasn't fully acknowledged as anime like a lot of other shows, that people would not associate Ghibli with Gundam.
Yeah. Something I wanted to mention was, what was that one animated movie? Was it like Little Nemo, Nemo in Dreamland or something? You know what I'm talking about? The one where the kid is like riding around on a bed. He like goes to Dreamland or something. Oh, it's just called Little Nemo?
It is Little Nemo? Okay.
If you watch that now, like when I watched it as a kid, I didn't realize that was by a Japanese studio.
I've never actually seen this.
Yeah,
I've never seen
Little
Nemo
it's so
in
obvious.
Slumberland.
It's so obviously by a Japanese studio, but I didn't
look
realize
that
that
up
at the
later.
time. Yeah, thank you. Little Nemo. It's like, yeah.
But
Yeah, go
you
back
are
and look
still
at that now.
very much into anime and manga. That this is again, I think, a shared shelf. And you actually mentioned that you
No,
recently...
this is like almost entirely my shelf.
Oh, okay, so this one's just yours.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that this is incomplete because you recently loaned a significant number of volumes to a friend, but that something you do is just, you said when you have a bad day that you'll go to Barnes & Noble, you'll go to the cafe, grab a tea, and pick up a volume, and just to read and enjoy, and just...
Oh, Jorb, that's not just a small piano. That's not just any small piano. It is a small piano that plays To the Moon, or the song For
Flying
River.
to the Moon?
No.
Or...
the song is called For River, from the game To the Moon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually won that at MagFest.
Nice.
Yeah. The creator for To the Moon was there, and they had a raffle, and I won.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy. And in particular, you are a Shoujo fan, and that I can see there's Sailor Moon over there. I'm gonna have to
Well,
bring up
I
a
don't
bigger
have Sailor
picture on
Moon.
my end. Oh, is
Fake
that not Sailor
news.
Moon?
Are you looking at Rose of Versailles?
I very well could be.
That's probably Rose of Versailles.
The one on the second from the top on the right. The
Oh my
blue
god,
ones.
Rizzo, you read the girl with the Sanpaku eyes? Base.
Oh, wait a minute. No,
Uh,
that's Ranma.
Oh yeah, that's a picture of Rama sitting on the moon.
Yeah, that I just saw the moon there in the blue, and I was like, Sailor Moon, I'm assuming? Nope.
No. I like Sailor Moon. I did grow up with Sailor Moon. I was very obsessed with it when I was little. But that obsession didn't really carry over into my adulthood so much. I don't know. Maybe because I'm like a little hipster. And now that everyone likes it, I don't like it. I don't know what the issue is. But I loved it when I was little. I'd rent the VHS tapes at Blockbuster like all the time, and I'd watch the movies over and over and over again. But yeah, not so big into it now. I think my favorite Mahou Shoujo would probably be Card Captor. I do have like one volume of Card Captor up there. It's like a really big fancy one. But those are like $20 per volume, so I don't have a ton.
Yeah, no, that's a bit much. That, yeah. And I was never a huge manga reader. I picked up a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga back in the day. That was one of the ones that I got. Death Note as well. Well, I didn't buy Death Note. Death Note was loaned to me by a friend, and that's my sort of pseudo hipster thing of that. I read Death Note just before the anime came out. I'm not sure if that's one that you've read.
I didn't care for Death Note.
That's fair. It is as far from shoujo as you can get. So.
Well, I mean, I'm not like partial only. Like, I also really like comedy. Like, I really like Cromartie High School. I really like School Rumble. I really like, what's another comedy series I have? Excel Saga. I got a couple of like 4 Komas up there.
And Death Note is none of those things, so still not surprised that it wasn't to your taste.
It just was, I don't know, I guess I wasn't huge on the art style, and also there's just like too much explanation, and if a manga has too much explanation, like when I'm reading a manga, it needs to flow, and like Death Note did not flow.
That's
really
fair. It is a dialogue-heavy.
Yeah.
Manga
A really good
sure.
explanation of example of a manga that just flows and flows so well is Hunter x Hunter, which I don't have any volumes of. I'm sorry, I will get volumes of Hunter x Hunter. But Hunter x Hunter is like the prime example of a manga that flows. I really love Hunter x Hunter. Death Note would benefit from being remade as a comedy. Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Now I'm trying to think how they would do that. Of just like, I guess it would be that if you make the cat and mouse game of L and Light and just really lean into the comedic aspects the whole time of it, yes, it's sort of a dark comedy because it's an investigation, but that you could have it be just this almost Tom and Jerry type of thing of the two of them going rounds. And I don't think we'd ever see that officially. I could see, like...
So basically, Lupin the Third.
Ooh, that's a really good parallel there. Really good. Yeah. Now, I still need to see Lupin Part 6. I watched all of Part 5, and I've seen bits and pieces of the older ones, but I haven't seen Part 6 yet, and I've heard that it's good. I think it just finished earlier this year.
Lupin has murder sometimes. And that show can take a surprisingly dark turn. Dude, I watched like a Lupin movie recently where they like, oh man, they killed a guy and they killed his cat, and I was so sad. But anyway, yeah, you can probably say that the volumes I have the most of up on my shelf right now is Skip Beat. That's my favorite shoujo manga. I grew up with that. It's really good. It's about a girl who like devoted her life to supporting this guy, like literally like threw her life away to support him and his dream, and he ends up ditching her in Tokyo for that dream once things go really well for him. He just fucking ditches her. Doesn't matter that she quit school and left her home and did everything in the world for him, supported him financially, everything. So she's like, so instead of like being like, you know, your typical shoujo protag that's like, oh, I just wish the best for them, I hope things look up for me soon, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'll fucking ruin his life. I'll fucking ruin his life. I'm gonna get famous and I'm gonna ruin his life. And I thought that was so cool. And the whole story is just like her like trying to like climb the ladder to fame, no matter how. And along the way, she actually like makes really valuable friends and people that like teach her that it's okay to love again. It's okay. It's okay to trust other people again, and it doesn't have to all be about revenge. Like look at this, Kyoko. You actually enjoy what you do. You've found a place where you found your passion or whatever, and you found your friends. Blah blah blah. It's just so fucking good. I love it. The anime is horrible though. Don't watch the anime. Those are dirty. Those are real dirty.
Yeah, that especially for older shoujo, that there's a couple, Sailor Moon, the original one, obviously, is very successful. That it is one of the most iconic anime of all time, and it really was a gateway for a lot of young fans. But obviously, it diverged significantly from the manga, and that was part of the impetus for the I guess you can't call it recent anymore, but Sailor Moon Crystal, which was released in 2014, and there was good that. So I say this as someone who watched a bit of Sailor Moon Crystal, but has a lot of friends who were really, really into Sailor Moon, and the basic consensus that I've seen is that one, the CG is awkward. CG transformations are very awkward. But that the more faithful adaptation of the source material was done, but perhaps a bit rushed. But also just the fact that at that point, so many people had grown up really with the original Sailor Moon anime that not as many folks were actually familiar with the manga material at that point.
I actually did read the Sailor Moon manga when I was little.
Okay, so did you enjoy? Well, from your initial reaction, I'm guessing that you did not enjoy Sailor Moon Crystal quite as much.
I don't care that it was more faithful to the manga because it looked like dog shit. And maybe it's doing a little better now, but it still looks like dog shit compared to the original. And I don't understand the point of remaking something if you aren't going to make it to be better than the original. Because what's the point otherwise? What is the point? So I don't really care for it. I understand it's gotten better, but I'm really, really picky when it comes to animation. And I'm honestly probably not the person to be taking this opinion entirely to heart, because I'm just way too picky, and I feel like that I feel like people who aren't as picky as me enjoy life better. So power to you if you liked Crystal. But I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
I respect that
dude,
opinion.
that first season was so fucking ugly too. I can't believe how badly they disrespected Sailor Moon with that shit. Dude, things were clipping, things were misaligned, things were wonky as shit. Nothing made sense. It was painful, and it turned me off so hard that I don't care how much better they improve later seasons. It was too much. They went too far. I'm not gonna look at that shit again.
Did you read or watch Fruits Basket?
Yes, I read Fruits Basket. I grew up reading Fruits Basket.
Did you see the recent anime adaptation, the one that was similar to Crystal, faithful to the manga?
I didn't. Like I said, I'm really hesitant to watch modern anime. Because it just doesn't ever live up to my standards. It does look pretty from what I can see.
I would encourage that one. That I never actually saw the original Fruits Basket, but I went into the 2019 series blind, and I thought it was great. The folks that I know,
it looks good from what I've seen. I'm just really hesitant. The only time I in recent years that I'm okay, I'm gonna watch an anime is if it's fucking something like Ranking of Kings. All right, I saw the trailer for Ranking of Kings, and immediately I'm yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm definitely watching that when that comes out, and I did, and it's just gotta be that level, or else I'm not interested.
Yeah, for Ranking of Kings, I had a really bad case of don't judge a book by its cover syndrome. That I didn't see the trailer. All I saw was the promotional image, which is Boji in his diaper. Sorry, had a blip there with video. I think we're back. Okay, yeah. But so the promo image was just Boji in his diaper sitting on the throne, and I read the synopsis of, that is this this deaf prince who is, trying to make his way in the world, and that it didn't sell me. And I was just like, kid in a diaper sitting on a throne, and then
Jay's like, babies? No fucking thank you.
But then within 3 weeks of it starting, that, word started getting around, holy shit, Ranking of Kings is really good, and I picked it up.
Oh,
and
no. I knew it from the start, dude.
Yeah,
The minute I saw that promo art, I was like, no, this is gonna whip, this is gonna slap, this is gonna own. Then the trailer came out, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna whip, this is gonna slap, this is gonna own. Then it came out, it whipped, it slapped, it owned.
It did. That was one of my favorite anime of 2021, full stop. That I would call that probably in my top. It's in my top 3, yeah. My favorite of 2021 was Odd Taxi. I'm not sure if you've seen that one.
Oh yeah, no, Odd Taxi was good. That was another rare instance of, all right, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna watch this. Yeah, it's just that's the level of animation I'm looking for. If it's not animated like it's from the fucking 90s or 80s or early 2000s, I don't want it. If it's not as gorgeous and lovingly drawn animated as Odd Taxi or Ranking of Kings, I don't want it. Yeah.
That Ranking of Kings was just that was something special, and I think we're getting another season of it. It seemed like it was more than successful enough. It's gonna be a little bit, but I'm very much looking forward to what we get next there.
I will say though that it's not that I'm anti-anime. I really love a lot of older stuff. It's just that primarily I read manga. I like manga.
That you only have so much time in the day, and that you need to be choosy with what you spend your time on, and especially if you're reading a lot of manga, that means you're not gonna have as much time to watch anime. So you need to be very selective. So I think it makes perfect sense, and that I'm sort of the flip-flop that I very seldom read manga but watch a lot of anime, but that also means that whenever I read manga, that it has to be something that really, really gets my attention.
Okay, but speaking of manga, I think it's time we shill something, don't you? Kageki Shojo, dude, I picked that up. Yeah, I picked that up recently. I saw the cover, the prequel cover, where she is dressed like Oscar from Rose of Versailles, and I'm like, all right, you've got my attention. So I pick it up, and it is about, do you want to explain what it's about? Actually, you're way more articulate than I am.
So Kageki Shojo is a story about girls who attend I always forget the way to pronounce it, Takanozuka?
Probably.
Basically, it's an acting school, and that Takanozuka, hopefully I'm not butchering the term, it is Japanese theater, Revue Starlight. That's the exact same of that. It is all female casts doing just stage theater, and that in Japan, the culture around this particular type of theater is as big as pop idol culture. That there are, the famous actresses, and that there are famous troupes. That it's not just like in the U.S. and North America at large, that actors generally aren't going to be beholden to a particular studio or a particular director, that they're going to hop around and they're going to, take whatever parts come to them. That's just how the industry works over here. But in Japan, that for this particular type of theater, that you join up with a troupe and that you have your season of shows. I suppose this happens more you'll get this in local theaters, not so much at the high level professional stuff, but that's the case here.
And it's a really in-depth look at how they function, what their process is, and what you study. It hits hard
and gets into some really real stuff, and one of the two main characters.
And it's really informative about acting too, and how you go about taking on a role and stuff like that. Also, it's centered around a really happy-go-lucky girl who is incredibly tall, taller than everyone in their class, and her dream is to play Oscar in Rose of Versailles, the play. And I think that's fucking badass, and it's just so good.
And the thing is, if memory serves, that Oscar and Rosa Versailles is usually somebody who is not super tall.
Yeah, that does an issue. Oscar from Rosa Versailles, she lives her life as a man, but in fact was born a woman. I think that's why in Japanese theaters they're like, oh, she can't be too tall because she's still a woman, blah blah blah. But I believe that we can have a version of Oscar where she's taller than anybody else in the room, and I think that would be sexy. And I believe in my girl. I know she can do it. She's gonna be Oscar one day. She's gonna do it.
She is one of the gankiest Genki characters to ever Genki. She is just pure sunshine and energy.
No, but she's got her moments, dude. When she gets serious, when she's like really thinking about how she wants to approach her role, like she gets this dark look on her face.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking killer. It's badass, dude. Whenever she transforms, dude, when she's like taking on the role of someone, like, oh man, you don't think she's capable of it, but she is. It's so cool. I love it so much. I love Kageki Shojo. I just bought the big like prequel volume. It's like way thicker than like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 volumes that are out right now, and it centers around like the girls meeting for the first time, you know, a little bit about them before they were accepted into the school, and like how they came to be like close to each other, and like the now current volumes. But like, oh man, it's so good. It's my
Meanwhile, the other main character is a ex-idol who basically she just didn't enjoy the fan interaction, and basically I won't get too much into spoiler territory here, but basically she had a situation where as is very well known in the VTuber community, the term of graduation, that the term graduation comes from the Japanese idol industry originally, and that she basically had a forced graduation after an incident and is seeking basically the second phase of her career.
Well, she joined allegedly. I mean, I think it's also because of her career, but also she just wanted to be in a world without men.
Yeah, and that's right.
This is an all-female like acting troupe, so like she doesn't gotta worry about it. Aside from like a teacher here and there, like she's completely immersed in a world of women. I respect that.
But it's
so good. Yes, Ruzo, please read it and then talk with me about it. It's my favorite manga right now. That and Witch Hat.
They go some really serious places, some very real places. Again, I'm not going to get into spoiler territory, but just this is not one that you're going to want to give a kid under 13. There's some past trauma stuff for some of the characters that they delve into that I would say is...
You should see what I was reading at 13.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Witch Hat Atelier! Dude, oh my god, it's beautiful. I'm gonna be a little bit of a hipster here and say that I was reading it before everybody was chilling it. I saw it at a store. I saw volume 1, and it was so intricate and beautiful. Like the art style and the cover and everything. I was like, oh my god, I've never seen something so lovingly drawn before, and like the texture of it. Oh my god, it looks like an actual like medieval piece of art or something. So I snatched that bad boy off the shelf. I read that. I'm like, oops, I need volume 2 and 3 now. And I've been getting them as they come out. I think the next one is available in September. I could be wrong. I think it's September that it comes out. I'm really excited for that. I think it's volume 11 at this point, or maybe it's 10. No, it's volume 10. Volume 10 is coming out. And it is just like, it's so beautifully drawn and so well made. They do like this little hatching style on like the characters and the backgrounds and everything that makes the art sort of have like this historical look about it. And another thing they do really well in this series is that they do an amazing job of like world building, which I really appreciate for like, stuff that's like taking place in like worlds about witches and wizards and stuff like that. Like there is a law and a rule for everything. Like there is an actual process to how they do magic that is available for you to read about and learn yourself. Like,
holy cow,
it's amazing. Like they've put a lot of thought into the series, and there's just a lot of love and thought put into it. It's really amazing. I really recommend it.
One sec, I'm gonna move us back to the main screen since that way you can be a bit bigger on the screen because we're still going through.
Yeah, that's Harry Potter done right.
Yeah, so which actually that you mentioned that one before we started the stream, and I actually looked up some of these images, and you're right that it's this very classical high fantasy, but just the style of drawing, it's still distinctly manga, but it edges a bit closer to Western style while still being distinctly manga, and it's a really neat style to see.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Dude, you should see the art books for this. It's insane. And those art books are like running for like $200 or more. Like last I checked, like I'm never gonna be able to own one of these art books. Damn it. Oh, but I want them. Well, there is one art book I think that's affordable, but like it's not the one I want. The one I want's like $400.
That thing better be gold lined, just like
Yes,
like,
Russo,
it's
yes.
paper just made of ivory or something. How do you make an art book $400? I understand that art books, like I when I think of an art book, I think of something that's going to be like $40 to $100. So I know they aren't cheap, but $400.
Yeah, I just think they were limited print is all. Like I think when they released this art book, which I tell you wasn't big either in Japan or the West yet. Yeah, supply issue, exactly.
Okay.
And also there's like really cool factors to it. Like, okay, so like there's a page with like the main girl Coco on the cover, or not the cover. There's like a page with Coco over like a beautiful scenery. But if you turn the page, you'll realize that this is actually a see-through image. Coco is on like a clear pane by herself, and you turn the page, and now you've got the background all by itself with no Coco in it. And it does cute things like that. That just makes it look.
I can
really
appreciate
cute
that in design of being able to use multiple pages to create a full image, but then that you can literally peel off a layer and be able to see all the detail on the background.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I really want it.
Now, my favorite shoujo series of all time, this is low-hanging fruit to be sure. It is the very basic one.
I'll be the judge of that.
Dang, do I love Ouran High School Host Club.
Oh my, okay, yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. I read that when I was little, and I was super into it when I was little. I think my favorite guy was his name Mori, the giant
the big stoic guy. Yeah,
big stoic guy was my favorite. I liked him.
I watched the anime. I've not read all the manga. I'd love to see a remake of that one that is actually fully faithful to the manga, but the anime, the 26 episodes we got, I thought were just so fun, and that I really enjoyed that one. It's always stuck out for me, but I recognize that it's, like I said, very sort of low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah, you're valid. A lot of people still really, really love that series. And I've noticed that it's kind of resurfacing again lately. Did something happen, or are we just being nostalgic?
I think it's just nostalgia that there certainly hasn't been an anime remake announced or anything. Maybe there have been a couple of promotions that it's definitely established itself as an evergreen series, that's for sure.
Oh my god, Poxy based. Oh my god, this is why me and Poxy are besties. Yeah, he seemed like the nicest guy, so I liked him the best. How about
20th anniversary, that would make sense.
That'll do it. What was your favorite thing about Ouran High School, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was just the comedy. I think the comedy really hit for me. That I was not particularly invested in who is Haruhi gonna fall in love with. It. I can appreciate good romantic writing. I don't dislike it. That's usually not going to be the thing that hooks me. It's going to be in a romance series, is there the good character development for the characters that are going through the romance? Is there a plot in the background of it all? That I don't dislike those elements of the plot, but I want to have something that makes it more than just, oh, will they, won't they?
Yeah. Going back to Fruits Basket a little bit, though, I did watch the original anime, and it was okay. I actually wasn't crazy about the original anime. I did like the songs for it, though, but I grew up on the manga, which I loved so very much, and I still do. It's not my favorite ever, but like it has a really special place in my heart, especially because like Toru was like the first instance of me meeting a character in an anime or series that was just genuinely good through and through. And I actually went through a huge phase in my life where I'm like, I have to be more like Toru. I have to be more like Toru.
She's
Like,
a good role model.
Not because I wanted like a harem of boys, but just because I'm like, she's so good. Like, I can't believe someone could literally spit in her face and she would apologize to them. She would apologize to them for getting spit in her face, because to her, she's like, I've done something to make them feel like they had to spit in my face, and I hate that. I hate that I've done that, and I whatever it takes to make it so that they don't feel like they have to spit in my face, I will do it. All right, because clearly I've pushed them to this point, and I want to do something to remedy that. And like, that's not the best thinking, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably going a bit too far.
Terrible.
But it is not like, your responsibility to make everyone
but that was
happy.
like revolutionary to me as a child. Like, thinking for a moment, like, wait a minute, I could improve. I could do better.
The mere concept of, all right, even if that isn't always the best, healthiest mentality to think that you are always at fault, but
it
the
makes
openness
you
to consider and think,
right?
wait a minute,
Yeah.
am
Like,
I
how did we get here?
part of this problem?
Hmm.
And that just, that there's like the characters there, and once again, there's a lot of trauma in that series. But...
yeah. It's pretty dark. Like, it's pretty scary. I would get a little scared reading that sometimes, just because of some of the confrontations that would happen. But yeah, Toru was very inspiring to me as a child, and I feel like had a pretty significant role in my becoming more socially aware, just because it like made me question, like, obviously if someone spits in my face today, I'm gonna beat their ass, but
yeah.
But it made it so where like I will stop and question the series of events to how I got to this point, and is there something I can do to do better? And I appreciate that.
And after evaluating that, then kick their ass.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Rosa. We can't change others, but we can change ourselves, and that's a lesson I took from Fruits Basket.
Mm.
You can't be born again, although you can change. Let's stay together always. Oh my god, good song. But yeah.
When it comes to collecting, that are you a completionist? That do you actively seek out? Okay, if I start a collection, that I'm really going to want to finish it, or is it I guess, do you usually go for the special editions, or do you just want the classic ones, and that if you have all the volumes, you don't need to have all the collector's edition ones, that if you have that generic printing, that it's still satisfying?
If you mean, do I want all my volumes to match? Yes. I don't like it when there's any mismatching. I will always, if I like, sometimes I'll collect like older series too. Like, I recently purchased Chrono Crusade for myself.
Yeah, I did see that one on the top shelf.
I love Chrono Crusade. So I had to make sure that those all matched and they were all like the same like print or whatever. Sometimes a manga printer will re-release a series that was previously under someone else, like Jinneon, for example. And I don't like my Jinneons mixing with my what's another studio? What's a modern one? Dark Horse something?
Yeah, or like Tokyo Pop mixed with
I
Jump.
Can't have those mixing. That bugs the hell out of me.
I can appreciate wanting consistency, but that for you want to complete the series, but special editions, or like the crazy expensive full color ones aren't necessarily.
Oh yeah, it's not necessary. It's fine.
Yeah, that getting the series is getting the series for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first manga volume was? What the first physical one that you bought was?
Galaxy Angel, Volume 1.
I know of Galaxy Angel. I know of Galaxy Angel. I don't know really anything about it.
Well, the anime is more like a comedy, but I collected the manga, which was a lot more serious in tone. And I don't even remember what it was about, really. I feel like it was kind of episodic, like different things were happening. But basically, they're just a bunch of hot chicks in space, and it's kind of like a harem. And sad and bad things happen sometimes, but at the end of the day, they figure it out, and everything's cool.
Yay!
Yeah. But yeah, that was my first ever manga, I was really influenced by it when I was little, and I would try to like draw in the same style and make my own Galaxy Angel manga.
Are you at the point with your local Barnes & Noble that the folks either at the register or at the cafe know you?
No, because I moved recently. I've only been living in my current place for like about a year. I don't know. I don't really remember anyone else's faces. I presume they don't remember mine. Maybe at some point they will. Because I go like, I feel like every other week I'll go get a manga.
Okay,
I'll go get
like
a tea.
every other week, that's not, super crazy or anything that, I've only ever been a regular at a restaurant once to the point where, some of the staff started to recognize me. But, it's a thing that, since you mentioned that this is not a total rarity, that it's something that you do every so often, that who knows, maybe that you'll end up becoming that regular there. And if not, that it's such a relaxing thing. It's a very picturesque thing, going to a cafe and just like buying a new book, reading a book that I feel like
it brings me a lot of happiness. It's like my go-to thing whenever I'm like really sad.
I remember back in the day that just if you went to the manga section of pretty much any Borders or Barnes and Noble, that you would find at least two nerds just, sitting up against the shelves reading the latest volume, and that,
Dude,
it's where all the weebs would go to congregate.
I feel like such a meanie. If I ever see nerds at the manga aisle, I just avert my gaze. I'm like, don't talk to me. You're probably reading Demon Slayer, and we can't be friends. I just avert my gaze. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. I don't know you. Don't know me. I may be in the manga aisle, but we're not on the same
cultured
level.
material. Thank you very much.
Oh my god. Excuse me. You're blocking the Kageki Shojo manga. I see you're trying to get Naruto. That's totally on the opposite end of the K's, but all right, no hate on Naruto though. I did grow up watching some Naruto, and there was an episode. Oh my god, this may have been detrimental to me, but it was a huge deal when I was little. There was an episode where like this character that Naruto was trying to help was like a kid or something, and they wouldn't stop crying. And Naruto was just finally like, "Stop crying! Nothing happens when you cry. Nothing changes. Nothing's done or accomplished when you cry." And I was like, oh my god, he's right. And then from then on, I never cried for myself again. I'll cry when I'm watching like a sad movie or something, but like if I'm like, really sad and so stuff is not going my way, I don't cry anymore. I like physically can't anymore, and it's all because of that episode of Naruto.
Well, I can sympathize with that, not because of that particular episode, but for whatever reason that I cry a lot more from media that like. I will happy cry when watching media, actually more often than I will sad cry when watching media. And that just, I don't know, that's sort of just
that's it for
how
me,
I function,
that's the only time I cry is if it's from media. Otherwise, I'm just not capable anymore. No matter how sad or horrible things get, I can't boo-hoo for myself. But if someone gets a happy ending,
oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here come the waterworks, baby. Oh man.
Even so, like Demon King Rizzo says that Naruto changed lives, and that Boruto is still going now, and just it's literally at the next generation at this point because it's been 25 years. No, it's.
Oh, the Rock Lee episode, dude. Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I can't watch Naruto anymore. Like I can't go beyond the Rock Lee episode because there's never going to be a pinnacle greater than the Rock Lee episode.
It is, to this day, I would argue, one of the most iconic anime fight moments. That even now, like when I talk with friends and we talk about, like what are some of the scenes, some of the moments of just Rock Lee dropping those weights. Just
Oh yeah. Lee did his best, dude. Would you believe that Rock Lee was my Naruto crush?
I can believe that.
Yeah, that was I drew Rock Lee in my little notebook at school all the time. Rock Lee, I was a Rock Lee girl.
Yeah, because bottom line was nobody actually really liked Naruto because he, at least in the early ones, because he was really annoying. the folks who were super edgy liked Sasuke, but
Oh, I
then
hated Sasuke. He was
but,
so
but that was the
annoying
thing
to me.
that it was either you loved Sasuke or you hated Sasuke.
I hated Sasuke. I liked Naruto. Like even at the beginning, I sympathized. I knew he was annoying because he was acting out because he didn't have his parents or whatever, and he didn't have anything, special to fight for or hold on to. I got it. I understood. Even at the tender young age of whatever I was, I understood that much. So like I didn't hate Naruto. I didn't think he was annoying. I got it. I understood.
Sam Lobos, thank you for the follow. Yeah, that I didn't hate Naruto, but it was just he was annoying enough that I didn't actively really like him as a character. That he was a fine enough protagonist, and obviously he had those big moments, the one with crying or just during the various fights, and I think that I stopped watching pretty early into Shippuden. That I saw through that like the exam arc with the iconic Rock Lee versus Gaara fight. Didn't end up getting much past that, but I know that obviously for a lot of folks that it is still a very iconic series to this day. That I remember that this year is the 20th anniversary of the Naruto anime, specifically the anime. The manga is several years older, but it's the 20th anniversary of the anime. And there's like a very cool promo image for the 20th anniversary, which is the older version of Naruto, just sort of like a ghost of his adult version with his hand on the shoulder of his younger version. And it is a pretty sweet thing, and especially since we now have Boruto and that Naruto is, the literal father figure now. And it's like, you made it, kid. Because, like you said, Naruto obviously has his tragic origins, and that is a lot of why he was obnoxious and didn't have as many friends at the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
And that it is that, like I said, you made it, kid. You were able to overcome everything.
Yeah, I think where I dropped off in Naruto was that like there wasn't any Rock Lee for a while, and I asked one of my friends who was like current. I was like, when does Rock Lee come back? And they're like, oh, you're not gonna see him for a long time. And I was like, man, I'm done with this series. Yeah, so that's where I dropped off from Naruto. I don't hate it. It's just not my cup of tea, and but I respect what it's done. And I respect that little lesson it gave me, whether it was detrimental to my mental health or not, I don't know. But yeah.
And one of the last ones that was on that shelf that I know means a lot to you that we didn't discuss, I had the mistake initially thinking it was Sailor Moon, which is Ranma 1/2.
Ranma! Yeah, that's another one of the first few mangas I got when I was little. I didn't live near like a Barnes and Noble or Books A Million when I was little. I had like a local bookstore, and so when they got manga, it was a really huge deal for me. And so one of the few mangas they had was Ranma 1/2, and then that's when I grabbed the first volume. And I was like, dude, this is fucking hilarious. This owns. Also, there's a booby. That's awesome. And so I kept collecting them. And,
I feel like that's the story for folks that just from all the things that we've discussed in terms of like, our first consoles, I can tell that we are very similar in age. And that I feel like for folks in our age range, that is the story of you took what you could get.
Yes,
there
yes,
was not always going to be a ton of manga. There was
scrounging for
not going to
scraps
be
back in the day.
that just there wasn't going to be a lot of manga, wasn't going to be a lot of anime, and that if your local, whether it be Blockbuster, might happen to have 2 discs of Sailor Moon that had 4 episodes each, or like you said, just the scraps. Nowadays, we have this embarrassment of riches where there's so much coming out consistently that we're getting shows the same
People
day
are
as Japan.
spoiled today.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
bitches are spoiled. Dude, I got my first Ranma 1/2 VHS from a yard sale. Sometimes I had to get my anime and my manga from yard sales, alright? And that's where I got Ranma 1/2. I got a couple of VHSs of that. and I got some VHSs of Magical Project S. All right. People are watching this now and they're like, whoa, is Fang like 40? I swear I'm not. I just grew up in the sticks, okay? I grew up in the sticks. Whoop. But yeah.
I was not in the sticks. I was in a distinctly suburban area, and even so, like my Blockbuster only would have, just a half dozen anime VHSs or DVDs, and that for a long time, that even if you would go to Barnes & Noble, that the manga section at the start of the 2000s was very small, very slim pickings, and that
Oh my God, yeah.
you would notice
Even
just
at, like, Suncoast
over
or
the years.
whatever.
Oh yeah, Suncoast Video, baby. Oh gosh. But just seeing the manga shelves expand literally over the years, that it might be that there would be 2 shelves worth of it, but then it would be 3, and eventually it would be an entire double-sided aisle.
Yeah,
And just
dude.
seeing it, that you can visibly see the difference. And that's even when you had those shops around that.
Mhm.
But like you said, if you were not near a place that had a really big mall or shopping center, or just was working with smaller local bookstores,
Yeah,
that you
I
were
grew
going
up
to get
literally
even
nowhere,
less.
like in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, I remember like the few times I would get to go to like a Barnes and Noble or a Books A Million, there would be like the manga shelf, and it would be so small. But now it's like
And now it's-
there's like a whole portion of the store dedicated to manga.
Yeah, just I remember little I'd like to think I was not the most awkward kid, but anytime that you have to go to a store and talk with one of the employees and
Oh my
ask for something,
God!
that
Yes.
it doesn't matter. Like even to this day, like having to ask someone in a store, hey, where is this section, or where can I find this? That's always a thing. But just going to, you are traveling or just finding new Barnes and Noble or bookstore, just saying, where's the manga section?
What a manga. Yeah, I know. Easy to find that stuff now though. But good taste. Poxy. I fucking love Tenchi Muyo. That's my shit. I also, I don't know if you saw it on my manga shelf, but I have volumes of No Need for Tenchi on there.
Did not see those. That Tenchi is another of those series that I'm very aware of. I didn't see myself because I didn't actually get into anime really until college. That it was the sophomore year of college for me. Which I suppose date myself would have been at that point. It was 2011, 2012 was really when things really changed for me. Then growing up, I watched Pokemon, little bit of Dragon Ball, little bit of Naruto. So it wasn't that I hadn't seen anything, but I missed the boat on basically anything that wasn't on broadcast prior to 2012 or so. And that, Tenchi was among those that, I think Tenchi had a run on Adult Swim.
It did.
But yeah, so I missed most of the stuff that was Adult Swim exclusive that I saw.
Oh wait, not Adult Swim. I'm sorry, Toonami. It was on fucking
Toonami.
Toonami.
But it was like the late night block of Toonami, because they had the afternoon Toonami.
Yeah. Well, I remember it playing in the daytime sometimes.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a very adult show, but for some reason, someone was like, "Yeah, bring that shit over to the Cartoon Network." And like, there's like plenty of scenes where like Ryoko's boobies are out, but then they edited like a really bad swimsuit on her. It was amazing.
Of course.
I loved it. I was obsessed with Tenchi Muyo.
Any favorite characters or favorite moments?
Oh shit, yeah, dude. All right, Ryoko's obviously my favorite. She's like the fucking blueprint, baby. I hated Ayaka so much when I was little, but I have like a real healthy respect for her now. I also really liked Washu. I also really liked Mihoshi. Mihoshi's like objectively the best girl, but like I can't help but love Ryoko. I just can't help it. Hyone's cool. She's like the straight man to Mihoshi, so like cool. Sasami's okay. I liked Sasami better in her Magical S Project spinoff. But otherwise, it's just like, she's a kid, she's there, she can cook, that's cool. I think that's it. Was there any other girls? Am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anyone. I basically like the entire cast. Like, everyone brought something to the table. And I feel like that's why Tenchi Muyo was so good. Oh, Poxy Based! I love you, Poxy. Was a big fan. Dude, Washi was awesome. Washi was totally awesome. Like, what do you mean you can build like a whole like bathhouse in a night? Please come over.
Oh my gosh,
come
send
on over,
love us
Washi.
Hamtaro.
Oh my god, I loved Hamtaro. Very good show. Dude, you wanna okay, chat, I wanna talk with you, chat. I wanna ask if you remember this. Alright? Because not a lot of people do. Back when Card Captors was airing on WB Kids, there was a very, very brief period in time where Taco Bell had a Card Captor promotion and sold Happy Meals with well, whatever they call their kids meals, sold kids meals with Card Captor toys in them. And it was very brief because one concerned mother got a Card Captor toy in her children's meal and thought it looked like witchcraft, and so that got yanked off the shelves immediately.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I got the card pack that had like the cloud cards, and I had like the camera, the little camcorder camera, and I had Lee's weird Ouija board thing. I don't know what it was. I didn't play with that, but I had it. Yeah, yeah, Delinquent, you remember. Yeah. What were you saying?
Oh, sorry. the auto mod caught Jorb's message of Destroy This Woman, referring to the person.
Oh no,
Jorb! And no, I got it, but it was just seeing the auto mod there, and I sort of had to do a double take, so that was me. But I remember Burger King had the anime toys and licenses way more than McDonald's for the longest time, because that was where you had to get the Pokemon toys for the first several movies. That nowadays, like, actually Pokemon just came back to McDonald's, and that they're doing the cards, and there was the whole debacle over those for the 25th anniversary. But for the early years, Burger King was the one that got that license for whatever reason. I'm not sure, McDonald's probably
getting, like,
negotiated, but
there.
yes, the golden that there was like Charizard, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, and there's probably one other, but that they came in these.
Like Mew or something, right? Something like that.
I think it was Mewtwo. Yeah.
Mewtwo.
That they came in these little standy Pokeballs. I still do have the Charizard one in my bedroom at home.
Oh man. Yeah.
I don't think they're worth a whole ton, but
no,
that's just it's such that's a core
them.
memory for sure. Also, hey Gary, welcome on in.
I remember Burger King also had like little plastic Pokeballs that had like little random Pokemon inside.
Yeah.
I one year for Christmas, my family, my grandpa and my aunt and my uncle went to a bunch of Burger Kings, got a bunch of Burger King meals, and I guess they did this over the course of a year or something, because come Christmas Day, they had like a bunch of those little plastic Pokeballs from Burger King with the little hooks on them and everything, hung them all over our Christmas tree, and also got me all of the Burger King golden cards, every single one.
Oh my
And they also got me like a bunch of Pokemon coloring books, a bunch of Pokemon cards, a couple of Pokemon toys. Dude, I had like this huge fucking Pokemon Christmas, and it is like, to this day, one of the best Christmases I've ever had.
That's so sweet.
It was amazing. That was like the most like thought for I ever felt in my life. I was like, wow, they really, really were thinking about me. They tried so hard for me. This is amazing.
I didn't have that type of experience, but remember how earlier I mentioned that my parents were like not into me consuming a lot of violent media, that they didn't have a problem, like if I played a game at a friend's house, whatever, but that they were like, we don't want you owning shooter games and whatnot. And one of the things was when I was wanting to get into Pokemon, at that point I would have been 6 years old. 6 years old. And that they were worried about, like, it sounds violent if these things are fighting each other.
Oh my god, I remember, like, there was, like, this huge, like, church propaganda where they were like, oh, Pokemon stands for monsters, they're monsters, blah.
Oh yeah, devil propaganda, talking about witchcraft.
Dude, that was a scary time because my grandfather, my cave grandfather, was actually, would you believe it, a Christian in pre-Christian times.
Yes, yes.
And
He
the,
was ahead of the
and the
curve.
Stone Age.
He's the hipster there.
Oh, they celebrated Christmas in Flintstones, so yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But he was actually a huge like Bible thumper. So I was like, oh my god, is he gonna throw my cards out and stuff? Dude, my Bible thumping grandpa was like, that's a bunch of baloney. Like, it's obviously just a
appreciate
kid's
that.
game. I know. I was shocked. I was
And
shocked. I was like, hell yeah, grandpa.
and the thing for my parents that they were initially worried of like this sounds violent, and to their credit that if somebody just explain Pokemon poorly, that yeah, it is animals fighting each other. And that it is something I recall to this day, and that they recall too, that my argument to them was, you let me watch Star Wars and they have guns. And they said, okay, fine, but your
They're like,
mother is
"Oh,
going
yeah."
to watch like the first couple episodes with you, and then we'll decide. And they saw 2 episodes.
And it's the most wholesome shit ever.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that it was just shoulder shrug after that, and it was totally fine. So
Big respect to your mom. Big respect to your parents for like giving you that chance. Like a lot of cases, parents are just like, my house, my rules. I don't care what you say. We're doing it my way. So it was very diplomatic of them to actually, be like, all right, we're gonna sit down. I'm gonna watch an episode of you. We're gonna see how this goes. It's like, wow.
yeah, I was very fortunate to have that. Just their big thing was that like I was not allowed to own a video game that was a shooter game until I was like 12 or 13ish. That they just did not want that to be a thing that I grew up with, and that was their one really staunch thing. And I'm sympathetic enough to that, of just okay, you don't want your kid playing a gun game a ton. And they weren't even in the camp of, oh, video games cause violence. It was more of just we think that is more of an adult thing, and we don't want it to be a regular part of our young son's media consumption. And I can sympathize with that enough that whereas I bucked against the thing of like, no, you can't watch
I definitely
Pokemon.
wouldn't want like my 10-year-old or something being like, I don't have a 10-year-old, by the way, this is hypothetical.
Yeah, that hypothetically,
I wouldn't want like a child that young like being used to being around guns. So I get it.
I wouldn't want to. I don't think a 10-year-old playing Call of Duty is the worst thing in the world, but would I as a parent be super gung-ho about my 10-year-old playing Call of Duty? Probably not.
Yeah. Oh my god, you should hear those 10-year-olds on Call of Duty. Hell no.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, ooh.
And the other thing my parents say is that, they, like pretty much everyone, thought Pokemon was going to be a fad, and just, seeing it now at 30 years almost is just, I don't think anyone expected Pokemon to last this long. It's really cool to see, and, we're getting the 9th generation. The fact that, the ones after Violet and Scarlet, it's going to be the 10th generation of Pokemon.
Yeah,
and that's just mind-boggling
the day
to me.
that Pokemon ends. That's going to be a very dark day.
It's way too successful that it is actually the #1 grossing, like the most financially successful media franchise in the world. Period.
Whoa, really? All right.
It's mostly on the back of merchandise that just as from Spaceballs merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. That it obviously video games counts for a good amount. The films add in like 1% of the total revenue, but just since it is such a multimedia franchise, that the merchandise and everything else that I forget what the amount is, but if you go to Wikipedia and look up, top grossing media franchises, that Pokemon is #1
That's
by,
insane.
and it's ahead of the second place by some 200 billion.
I need to read this
It's
comment
a
that my friend
lot.
spent like $1 billion on Pokemon cards to collect literally every single card because they wanted to be the coolest people in the block, I guess. But then their pastor said psychic is evil, and then they begrudgingly threw away their collection, and then they were mean to me about it. Wait, like they chose to throw away their collection? Or like their parents did? Either way, that sucks. Yeah, it's crazy. I never would have guessed that Pokemon would have. I remember the day that Pokemon. Okay, so maybe this wasn't the day. I remember the very beginning of Pokemon. I was like a little pee pee poo poo baby, but like I remember getting a VHS in the mail that was promoting the anime series. Do you remember that? Does anyone remember that?
I do not remember ever getting a VHS in the mail.
Yeah, I think I was like 7 or something. But I got this VHS in the mail, and it started off with a woman that called herself like Ash's aunt or something, and she's like, "Oh, you've gotta meet my nephew, Ash Ketchum. He's on a quest to catch 'em all." And it was like a real live action lady. It was crazy.
Hold on, I'm going to need to look this up. This sounds like some lost media stuff right here.
No, it's not lost media. I'll send it to you.
Gosh.
Let's see. Ash's
That's
aunt?
crazy.
What do I type in for this? Yeah, the Pokemon promo VHS. All right. A lot of things were like removed from it because of like copyright stuff, but
I'm sure.
there you go. Watch
I'm gonna
that
have to
now or
watch this later because we tried playing a video earlier and the stream did not like it. But I'm gonna have to look this up. Now, the piece of Pokemon media that is not quite lost media, but it's darn near. Are you aware of Pokemon Live, the stage musical?
No, I don't think I am.
In late 2000 and early 2001, there was a stage musical. It debuted at Radio City Music Hall in New York City and did a national tour. It was half the songs that they used in the To Be a Master album and like the Pikachu's Jukebox stuff at the end of the episode. So that was half the show. But the other half was original music. And the TLDR on that was it happens canonically post first movie. Giovanni creates a robotic Mewtwo called Mecha Mewtwo, which is able to learn attacks. And basically, Giovanni tempts trainers to come to fight his gym and gets this thing to be learning all the attacks. And that, of course, the last one that he needs is electric attacks. And so he sends out Jesse and James to get Pikachu, and things go, and this giant fight. And a lot of it is exactly as campy and awful as you would expect a
I'm already
Pokemon
like, why
stage musical
specifically
in
Pikachu? Like,
2000 to be. That it is not a good show.
yeah, it doesn't
But
sound
in
like
retrospect, it's so damn campy. And if you are someone who grew up with Pokemon, that the nostalgia takes over and it becomes a fun watch. It's not a good watch. It's terrible. But I would encourage you to watch it. They never actually did an official video release of it. It was in the works, but then got canceled. But the stage manager actually uploaded some of the recordings to YouTube, so you can actually see the show in its entirety.
Oh, really?
It's
I'm
very grainy,
interested in
and
that.
the visual quality is garbage. The audio is good enough.
You said it's a musical?
Yeah, it's a musical.
Ah, boy.
Yes, Ruzo, Jesse and James live, and that's the stinger to all of it, because James is played by a man named Andrew Rannells. Andrew Rannells would go on to be the original Elder Price in Book of Mormon. The actor that plays James in Pokemon Live is a 2-time Tony-nominated actor today.
All right. Power
And
to
he is
him.
called low point of his career.
Oh, rude and disrespectful. Respect your roots, babe. What the hell is that?
Yeah, he mentioned that he was like, backstage in one of the shows and was like, what am I doing with my life?
Oh my fucking god. Respect your roots. All right? Nobody starts at the top. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be honored to be on a cheesy Pokemon musical.
It's a fun one, and I can tell that Classic Carnage is at least aware of it from the reaction there. And yes, that somebody found the discarded costumes and props at an abandoned theater. That basically it seems after the last show that it's not entirely clear if like the theater itself was shutting down too, but it was the last stop on the tour, and that they left the stuff behind, assuming it would be thrown away by the house. and it wasn't.
Mm,
So it was
that's so
just
cool. That's
there
so
for
spooky.
almost.
Are there any pictures of that?
Yeah, no, there's videos of them like going in and finding this stuff.
That's so cool. I want to see. Can you send that? Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you after the show for sure.
Thank you. I like stuff like that. That's so spooky. I love it.
Yeah,
I bet the
it's
whole cast got raptured. Oh
and
my
yeah,
god.
and just like half of these puppets are just they have 15-ish years of decay on them, and they look really weird. And
Oh,
but a
I
couple
want
of
to
them
see.
were actually preserved pretty well.
Ooh.
And it's really interesting to see all this stuff after the fact, and also just the mystery of like why the hell were they all left behind. That there's obviously some logical explanation to it, but it's certainly not the norm for a closing show to not have its stuff, even if it's left behind to be discarded, that usually the venue is going to throw it away. But for whatever reason, that didn't happen here. Can't believe Jesse, Ash, and James died, and Misty died so James could thrive. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It's a fun one. Like I said, not good, but if you are a Pokemon fan, I think it's worth the watch.
Hmm.
But we have been at this now actually for 3 hours, and you have, as we mentioned at the top of the show, another collab in an hour. So
Yeah.
I do want to give you some time to unwind a bit, get some food, and then prep for the next one. But I
Yeah.
have last couple questions that I ask all my guests. One of them
Okay.
is, do you have any goals for the remainder of 2022? That we're nearing the end of August now, so there's still some months left that we're not at the end. But do you have anything, whether it be it could be metrics based, or it could be project based, of I want to do this type of stream, or I want to release a song. That is there anything that you're really hoping to get done before 2023?
I do, but they're mostly secrets. So
That's
I don't wanna,
fair. So
Yeah.
the answer of complete my secret projects is still a valid answer.
Yeah, complete my secret projects. The reason I don't really talk about them is just like when they do happen, it's like a huge surprise and everyone didn't see it coming. They're like, "What? Fang was capable of that all this time? What?" So yeah.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate wanting to.
Plus, I feel
have
like
the
if I
elements of
tell
surprise.
people what I'm planning, then they're expecting it, and then for some reason that affects my productivity,
Also
and then I
very
don't
fair.
do it.
Now,
So
if
I-
you're
so
willing
I
to
don't
say,
usually-
is there one project or is it multiple?
multiple. Multiple.
Well, you better follow Fang on Twitch and Twitter. Make sure to keep up with all of her stuff because she's got some stuff in the works.
I got some stuff in the works.
Yeah. And then the last question is one I ask all my guests: what does being a VTuber mean to you? And that's not what is the definition of a VTuber, but some folks approach VTubing from a very, I would say, clinical sense of that they say it's a tool in their toolbox. It's a mask that they wear as an entertainer. I've had other folks say that VTubing lets me get in touch with my inner child, or it lets me be someone that I can't be in real life, and that they have a bit more of a emotional connection. But for you, Fang, what does being a VTuber mean to you?
I don't think I have an answer, because this is who I am in real life. I am a caveman. I'm 100% a caveman. I hate technology. It's difficult and confusing. And all the things I love and I talk about as Fang, I love and talk about as Fang in real life. This is who I am 100%. I just am a little more anime looking. So I don't really know. I don't know what it means to be a VTuber for me yet. I think I'm still trying to figure that out. But all I know is that I'm having a good time and I'm making more friends than I otherwise regularly would be, which I really appreciate. I'm never at a loss or for someone to hang out with and play games with, which has been a huge up for me. I don't really consider myself like huge or successful yet or anything like that. So I just feel like being a VTuber right now for me is I am just anime and playing games with people more. I know it's not really an amazing answer.
No, but
I feel like as I go on and as I have more experiences and as I see new horizons, I'll probably have a deeper answer for you. But for the meantime, I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy having a good time.
I think that's totally valid, and that I asked that question because everyone has a different answer, and that while I never know what someone's answer is going to be before they say it, when people tell me their answer, it always makes sense. And that for us, that, we didn't really talk about content creation tonight, everything we did, that this was just, we were
Oh,
nerding
that
out
would have
together
been
tonight.
fun.
We were just, having a good time talking about different games, different series, a bit of drawing, but in general, that this was just, being ourselves and nerding out, and that tuning into your streams, that it is very clear that you are not putting on a persona, that this is your genuine energy. This is just how you are. And like you said, when it came to arranging the show a bit last minute, that you allow yourself to be impulsive and just sort of, fly by the seat of your pants, and that, getting into VTubing and just not necessarily having a deeper answer, that's still an answer in and of itself, of just that you're here having a good time.
I am. I love streaming. I didn't have much to look forward to before I started streaming, but now I feel like every week is something cool and exciting to look forward to. So I really have appreciated this bit.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking time to be on the show. Like I said, being open to this sort of last minute arrangement. And I suppose I'm glad that it wound up working out for you. That, I wish I could say I totally knew that you didn't like planning things a bunch in advance, and that I meant to ask you this 3 days before. I am not quite that clairvoyant. But I'm glad it all worked out. That I love that of all the folks that I could end up asking, that it would be someone who would really be able to just vibe and enjoy and be super comfortable with things being a little bit last minute. And just tonight's been such a blast. Do you have somebody that you would like us to raid?
Oh my god! I didn't even. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting! Oh my god, who should we do? Oh my god. Hold on.
While she's looking for someone to raid, for everybody in chat, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the emotes, all the commentary. It's always fun having folks join in. If you are watching this on YouTube after the fact, hi YouTube. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for making it to the end of the episode. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I know how to, be content creator. I don't know how to be a content creator. You want to talk about flying by the seat of your pants? That VTuber Talk exists because I was bored and I like talking to people, and that's about it.
Hell yeah, dude! Getting into the VTubing scene has been like a really great way to make friends.
Yeah, and it's such a joy just being able to talk with different folks. This is episode number 74, which it's one off from that really clean 75 of the 3/4 of the way to 100. I've been at this now for about a year and a half, actually. Almost actually, exactly. But it's been so much fun, and that obviously, first order of business for anyone in chat, for anyone watching on YouTube, go follow Fang. Go follow Fang. She's awesome. She has lots of fun things that, as you mentioned, just in an hour is actually going to have a collab and is going to play some randomizer Sonic Adventure 2, but you have like this week it's Katamari. I'm forgetting what some of the other ones are. I know that you have a collab with Captain Cube, who stopped by and was in chat a little bit earlier.
Thousand Arms, yeah, and we're gonna play the rest of the PS1 Aladdin game, where I am currently in a pot as Jasmine and hopping around in a pot as Jasmine and being ridiculous. And then Friday I'm doing Mr. Mosquito.
Ooh. I don't actually know Mr. Mosquito, but it sounds fun. It sounds silly.
It's a PS2 game where you fly around as a mosquito and suck blood, but it's like a Japanese game, and it's like weird and like, I don't know, it's kind of fetishy.
Oh my.
I'm really excited though, I'm really excited. Like there's one scene, like there's one level where like there's a chick taking a bath, and you gotta get in there and suck her blood. I'm so excited.
TOS.
No, don't report me, please. Oh my god, but I want to raid Car, aka Pixel Curbs. They're a really talented artist, and they're also going to be in the Fluffy Barrage, which I was shilling earlier.
Oh yeah, that looks super fun, and that you're going to be on the commentary team for that.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna have to. I actually think I might be busy on Saturday, so I might have to watch the VOD of that. But actually, if you could send me the original one that you were participating in, I'd love to see that one too.
Okay. Yeah, Car! They're super talented and really sweet and funny, and I really love your content. Fantastic artists. Good energy, really, really good energy. And I'm really excited to see them fight in the Fluffy Barrage this weekend.
I also just love the name Fluffy Barrage.
Isn't it cute?
Yes.
Yeah, what
it's so nice.
The organizer, the grand number one organizer behind it is Wafo Bafo. And they are a virtual RAM assistant. So they're, cute, fluffy, sheepy themed VTuber, but also kind of like cybery and cool.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'm gonna have to like that. That's one of the other things about VTuber Talk that's so easy. There's going to be way more VTubers than I could ever have on the show because I usually only do one show a week. So, if you are interested, folks, in more shows like this, feel free to follow here on Twitch or on Twitter. Like I said, usually do shows once a week, but the consistency is a bit weird that I try to schedule around my guests. So sometimes it's on a Monday night, sometimes it's a Saturday night, sometimes it's a Sunday afternoon. When will it be? I don't know. So follow if you like, and maybe stop by if you see me in the currently live sidebar. But I hope you all really enjoyed tonight. Fang, I hope you enjoyed again. Thank you so much.
I did.
This was
Thank
a
you
blast
for
me.
inviting me.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. But again, thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you, Fang. We're going to be rating also. So their name was more because I have Pixel Curbs, but that their name was something different.
Car.
Okay, Car. We're going to be rating Car. So stick around for that. Again, thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your night. And don't forget to catch Fang later this evening with some Sonic Adventure 2 randomizer. Later, everybody.